Yes, good morning on a, very, very bright, sunny day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. In what I can only describe as a 24 hours, which has summed up planet Earth in 2025, the morons have all been out to play. The same fans that when Spurs beat Arsenal and draw with Newcastle and don't lose any games, they're nowhere to be seen. Spurs lose to one of the best teams in Europe with one of the best forward lines in Europe. And suddenly my inbox fills up with, look at your manager. You're in the mud. I thought he was going to sort out our defense. He's worse than Ange. Like, whoa. Like, when has pre-season ever been like this? It's absolutely absurd. It's absurd. I'm going to read you out in a bit some of the comments I've got. They are hilarious. They are absolutely hilarious. Somebody messaged me and said, Savva, you said he'd have us tight at the back. I had to remind them. You do know in pre-season we played 6 games and lost once to Bayern Munich, the champions of Germany, and one of the favourites every year to lift the Champions League. When did common, I know we've got trolls and such, but when did common sense go out the window? When did we all start getting so hyperbolic over pre-season games? Listen, does anyone want to lose 4-0? Of course they don't, right? But is anyone expecting with these players, to go to Bayern Munich and win? I said before the game, I don't expect us to lay a glove on them. I am looking at the forward line. Right? Johnson. Sarr was playing in the 10. Richie. Why are we expecting to go and pepper Manuel Neuer's goal? I genuinely, everyone just take your foot off the gas a tiny bit here. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's a friendly. And Thomas Frank's first defeat as Tottenham Hotspur manager. His first defeat as Tottenham Hotspur manager. And as I said, I can see it's all the same people that wanted to keep Ange. He hasn't changed anything. But, like, the guy's been here for 4 to 5 weeks. What on earth are we expecting in 4 to 5 weeks? This is a football team that just finished 17th. 17th. The man needs some time. By the way, we've only lost 1 game. It's a friendly. Oh, Bayern Munich's kids. Come on, we were already 2-0 down and we looked gone. We looked tired. We looked gone, flying from here to there. No rest. Come on, what are we doing here? Look, as I said, do I think we're going to be amazing in the league? No. Did I think we were going to be amazing in the league last year? No. Last year, I predicted 7th, right? And that was with Maddison, Kulu, Son, right? This year, I'm not going to do it yet. I'm not going to predict yet because I want to see what we do in the next couple of weeks. But this year, we don't have Maddison or Kulu or Son. Solanke's out injured. By the way, I don't even think he's great, but come on, like I feel like we just need just a little bit of calm. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think I've ever seen this in pre-season from this fan base. And I think we've got to get to the point where we realize anybody who goes into any walk of life, any job, I don't care. I don't know. You own a bank, you own a call center, you own a supermarket. When a new manager comes in, everything doesn't get changed, does it? Oh, sorry, I'm not centrally there, am I? There we go. That's better. Everything doesn't get changed in the space of 4 weeks. It's just got a little bit too, I don't want to say emotional, but actually, no, I would say that. It's all got a little bit too emotional. And what it screams to me is there are too many fans now that seem so insistent that they don't want Frank to work rather than backing him as the manager of Tottenham. Now, people will go, oh, that's contradictory. You didn't want Ange. Yeah, but I did at first. I did at first. James, I'm not saying he's the greatest player in the world, but we have not replaced. I don't understand how people don't get this. We have not replaced his goals and assists, or Maddison's goals or assists, or Son's goals or assists. And at the moment, we haven't even got Solanke's goals and assists. Surely we understand that. Surely we're all grown up enough here to understand that you've got to have goals and creativity in your football club. We are a fan base that at the moment, until we can find that line, until we can draw a line over the last regime and say, right, this is our manager now, move forward. We're not going to do, I mean, it's going to be really toxic for the whole year. It's going to be really toxic. Most people, I think most sensible people are looking at that game, looking at the Arsenal game, looking at the Newcastle game and going, yeah, we need major reinforcements here. We need major reinforcements. Other people are looking at it and going, there you go, he's rubbish. He is awful. This manager, I thought he was going to make you better at the back. You're going, I mean, did anyone not expect Bayern Munich to whack some goals past us? Like, have a look at the poll I've just put out. I've said, is the overreaction to one defeat justified? 36% said yes and is winning the poll. Frank deserves it has got 3%. Let that sink in where we're at. But again, Reece, you're saying silly things again, my man. You're saying silly things. This has got nothing to do with getting rid of Maddison and Coglou. This is to do with a brand new manager coming in and Spurs needing new players. This has got nothing to do, Reece. Honestly, mate, I don't think I can deal with you if you're not going to listen today. Honestly, it's really hard work with you. You're not listening. Maddison and Coglou has got nothing to do with what we need to do right now. They're injured. There's nothing. They're over there. Maddison and Coglou are over there. There's nothing we can do. They're injured. We can talk about selling them. It doesn't matter right now. They're both injured. Can't sell them. They can't play. Seeds the Wolf said you should ask the question non-biasly, Savva. What does that mean? Non-biasly. I don't get it. So we don't think that losing one pre-season game is an overreaction to all of the things we're seeing. George, this is the worry with the fan base right now. You've got a new manager that needs time. Like, this manager's got a track record of taking time to get things right. And our fans have lost their mind on one pre-season defeat. One pre-season defeat. I'm honestly, you think out there how much I get called negative. You think how much out there I get called toxic. Trying to bring a little bit of balance here. Listen, again, I've seen a lot of conversation about Kulusevski. Kulusevski's a good player. I don't go overboard about him. You all know I've never gone overboard about him. But he's a good player that does offer goals and assists. Right? He's a good player that we've not replaced. We've not got any backup to. Same with Maddison. And again, when you look at the goals, Maddison and Son. And again, and when I talk about Son, people can't determine the difference between needing to move him on and replacing him. I've never, honestly, I'm worried. When I worked in the city and I managed teams of up to like 20 people, I don't think I could hire half the dimwits that say these silly things in chat rooms. I genuinely don't know how they'd get through a proper day's work in the corporate world. I just don't know how they would. A lot of comprehension goes missing from people, doesn't it, when having football conversations? I mean, but Studio 23, do you think that Thomas Frank's going to turn around and say publicly that something is very close? No manager does that. No manager does that, do they? Let's be honest. No manager's going to turn around and go, keep an eye on the transfer news tomorrow. We've got a deal coming. Come on, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Are we? We're not. Thomas Frank will know what's going on. Thomas Frank's not going to come out and go, no more signings, or tomorrow we're signing. He's not going to do it. And I'm surprised in this day and age that fans think that managers will do it. Look, there is so much hate on Thomas Frank because of the Ange divide. That's what this is. Albza, no, I don't. But do I think any of the other big six have got as bad of players as we do in the forward areas? No, I don't. No, I don't. This is the problem, mate. We can't hold the ball up front. These other clubs can. We don't have any creativity. These other clubs do. Come on. Studio 23. So this is what I was talking about with comprehension in football, right? This is common sense, right? I'll see to the fourth, give it a rest. But see to fourth, give it a rest. People like you are just, it's so annoying. So annoying. Honestly, as a YouTuber, you can never do anything right because smart asses like this want to be in charge the whole time. You can never do anything right. You can never, ever do anything right because smart asses like this always want to have something to say. Look, we've got to understand. Thomas Frank was asked the question about transfers. He's given the answer I would expect. What would you expect the answer to be? He's not going to go, no, I'm not saying anything, because people will go, oh, why has he not said anything? When he does say something, oh, I can't believe he said that. You've got to say something. You're asked the question. I think, look at the overreaction we're seeing last night. Paulinho, a guy who's played 68 minutes of football in 6 months. It's just got a little bit crazy. It's got a little bit crazy. Honestly, Fix, it is tough. Whenever I finish a YouTube show, honestly, my mates who watch it, who don't support Spurs, literally say, I cannot believe half of the brainless people in chat show. I'm like, yeah, you just gotta deal with it. Yeah, Bill, I've seen it. And listen, I don't understand, because as Tottenham, right, I wanted Ange out because we lost nearly every other week, right? Nearly every other week. When Ange first came in, I was like, okay, this guy seems like a bit of a breath of fresh air. Let's see what he does. And then slowly but surely over time, we realized, well, he's not doing anything. He's not changing anything. But we've got a manager that hasn't even, let's call this for what it is, people, shall we? We've got a manager that hasn't even had a competitive game as Spurs manager. He hasn't had a competitive game yet. He hasn't had a competitive game. What are we expecting? Are we expecting that Thomas Frank's going to come in, we're going to win every preseason game 5-0. Suddenly we're going to be amazing whilst losing all of our goals and creativity? Is like, when I just want to know, when did the common sense go out the window? Are we going to do this every time we lose a game of football? Every game of football. I'm honestly, guys, I'm calm about it. I just, honestly, what I woke up to was a little bit like, so this guy sees the fourth going, oh, an overreaction. What I woke up to from YouTubers, from people sending me posts on, people saying, let me read you this. I'm not going to say who it was from. All right. Let me read you this. talk about an overreaction, right? I hope I'm wrong, but I wasn't far off last season. But currently, I genuinely believe Spurs could go down. Unless something changed drastically, I don't see us winning games. We can't score. We don't create much. We've lost Son and Kane. We're miles away. Now, whilst I agree about the Kane and Son point, people really think we're going down? People truly think that this manager, who's not once got relegated with Brentford, is going to take Spurs down? Like, this is the examples of things that I get sent. I genuinely don't understand. Like, look, here we go. Here's this. Somebody said, I got told that Ange was a rubbish coach and the players just need coaching. So why haven't they been coached yet? He's been at the football club about 4 to 5 weeks. It's just all a little bit, it's all a bit much, isn't it? Like, I don't remember the fans even being like this with Nuno. I don't remember the fans being like this with anyone. But Thomas Frank seems to be getting the brunt of the Ange supporters' anger. He seems to be getting the brunt of it. It's pre-season. We've not backed him. And everyone's going mad. Oh, season's, we're going to get relegated. Now, listen, whilst I don't think we're in a position to target the top 6 at the moment, I don't, oh my God, we're getting relegated. Based on what? Why are we getting relegated? Why suddenly are we now worse than the 3 teams coming up? Sorry, I think we're going to finish above most of the ones we didn't last year, the Brentfords and the Fulhams and the Bournemouths. I think we're going to finish above them. I just don't understand. Ange left a long time ago. Frank's in. Why can't we shift to Frank? And then if it goes terribly, we can have that conversation. But we've had one pre-season under him where let's be fair, the pre-season's been absolutely ridiculous. 2 games in one day, then flying straight out to Asia, 1 day in Asia, and then we're playing a game. And then flying straight to, then we fly straight away the day after to South Korea. And then we fly straight afterwards to Germany. Now we're flying back to London, then to fly to Italy. Who decided these were a good thing? Can't judge this guy on 1 defeat to one of the best teams in world football. I'm truly, truly, truly baffled by the state of human beings on a daily basis. Let's have a look, shall we? By the way, some of these will be all right, some of these messages. By the way, please do smash the like button if you haven't already. 114 likes, 650 of you in here. We should be on 300 likes. Come on, people. And for anyone who hasn't subscribed, please do. We're not far away now from 21,000, which will be mad. It'll be 1,000 in 2 weeks if we can get there by this weekend. Let's have a look. Let's sort by newest. Let's have a look at some of the posts. So the first post, and I kid you not, right? I'm going to show you so you know I'm not lying, right? Look, here are comments. So you can see here, if I show you it, and the top in this box here, can you see it says sort by newest? So these are the newest comments. So look at this. So the first person, 11 minutes ago said, we had a manager that galvanized the team, then we sack him. That's really smart. Okay, galvanized the team by losing 22 games and finishing 17th. So that's a good one. Here we go. Stevie Boy said, Jack Grealish is a pisshead. Brilliant. Good. Here we go. This is a good one. Let me show you this, just so you know I'm not lying. There we go. Let me see if I can read that backwards. I thought that Frank was a proper coach and could any manager could do better with the squad than Ange. Conceded 75 shots in 5 games, not including the Wickham game in pre-season. We have taken 34 shots in 5 games in pre-season that doesn't scream proper coach. Just because we play the nastiest low block doesn't mean we are better defensively. Let that sink in, guys. That's a grown adult who doesn't understand that this team needs coaching. Right? Don't get me wrong. There's ones that I agree with. Look, here we go. Look. Look at this. So Paul McWilliam, who was a massive Ange fan. There you go. Is it too soon for #Thomas out? My response, you're a grown man, grow up. Can't a grown man ask a question? Wasn't suggesting he needs to go. I mean, look, guys, you know when people go, oh, I can't believe you get those comments. That didn't happen. I'm showing you, right? I'm showing you these things that happen. I'm showing you. This is the problem. To be fair, there's people who are proper saying these fools want Frank. Look, people who are saying positive things. These fools want Frank out already. They know nothing about football. For sure. It's mad. Someone here's made a great point. Someone said here, some so-called fans have been waiting for this moment so they can say Frank out. To do so whilst in pre-season open transfer window with nowhere near the number of quality signings we need yet is disrespectful and extremely stupid. It simply succeeds in making our supporters look divided and ridiculously over-demanding of a manager who has barely had time to put a calendar up in his office, let alone a team sheet. Like, bang on, right? Bang on. Isn't it madness? Isn't it absolutely madness? People here. Last year, we lost 3-2 to Bayern. This year, we've lost 4-0. Clearly better now that Ange is gone. Like what are we... I don't think these are Spurs fans, are they? This is not Spurs fans. Someone here, positive one. We look so much better under Frank. Don't know why people are throwing stick at him. Our manager is the reason we are here. Spending 400 million on average players was top one. Oh, okay. I won't read the last sentence. I can't say that on here. But do you see what I mean, guys? This is what you wake up to. You wake up to. I could go on for hours of that. That happened all night, all through the night. You get people from Australia, people from the US. This is what we do all the time. Now, listen. If Thomas Frank doesn't sort this mess out, and we get 6 months down the line, I'll be asking questions. But we are not even game one into the Premier League season. We're not even game one into the season. And there are YouTubers that wanted Ange in more than anything that are now laughing at Frank because we've lost one pre-season game. There are viewers that are asking for the manager to be sacked. No, Studio 23. No, it's not bugging me. I'm just bringing it to light. Don't worry. Every time I say something, don't think I'm taking it personally. Surely we understand as a football club that this club was going like that. Surely everyone understands that. Surely. And one pre-season. Big up, Wolfie. If that's you, man, feel free to come on. Just message me. Aston Villa, by the way, have completed the signing of Evan Gussan. So Evan Gussan has signed. So Aston Villa buying a new striker, a new forward player. I'm just trying bring a little bit of sense and sensibility back to this. That's all I'm trying to do. We'll talk about the game in a minute. We'll talk about the players in a minute. But I've never known, by the way, you'll all be proud of me today. Look, different biscuits today. Chocolate hobnobs. Who says no to that? Yeah, he does. He plays, yeah. Right, Reese, give it a rest. Reese, I can't keep saying this to you. You're annoying me now. You've made it clear you want Maddison out. Nothing can happen with James Maddison for a year. He is injured. Stop. See, what happens is you now start getting the mats in. 4-0 to Bayern. Why is 4-0 to Bayern quite worrying? Look at the team they had out there. What a team they are. I've seen a stat that we have a strong chance of relegation. How can you have a stat for a strong chance of relegation? It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. I understand we don't want to lose games of football. I understand that. But what on earth are we doing? What on earth are we doing treating a new manager like this? What are we doing treating a new manager like this? See, the worrying thing for me in all of this is when you see people like Matt say 4-0 to Bayern is worrying. I wonder, where was Matt when we were losing 26 games last season? Matt was saying, don't worry, give the man 3 to 5 years. Frank's lost one preseason game, and apparently it's worrying. If anyone really thinks we're going to get relegated, can we have a day off? Can we have a day off? If anyone truly believes that this manager's going to get us relegated. Also, I truly believe you should be hitting the like button, people. Look, what do Spurs need to do? We're short. We've lost all our goals. We've lost all our creativity. We're short. We know that. Now, the club have 24 days to put this right. Talking about a club that can't score goals at the moment. Wolfie, the pantomime villain of YouTube. How are you, mate?
Oh, we don't concede either, though, right? That's the bit everyone's forgetting.
Yeah, you've got Nuno in charge. You don't score or concede.
Exactly.
Look. Do you know what? You know that video that's going around of me and you? You know, the two of these, one of these. Have you seen
it?
Right. Well, yeah, what the damn Pots should be sending me and you money for.
Isn't there like over 50K or something?
Do you know how many people have messaged me, mate, saying, I really hope that you and Wolfie make up. I really hope this doesn't ruin your friendship. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this isn't real life.
I've had loads of messages say you should never speak to that Savva guy again.
Mate, don't ever bring that Wolfie on your show again. Oh, good God. What are we doing? Wolfie, let me ask you, aside from all the silliness, and we'll talk about Spurs v Forest a bit later. I mean, in reality, how crazy is this that we have a section of this fan base that after our only defeat of pre-season to Bayern Munich is Frank out, bring back Ange. I mean, isn't football going just a little bit crazy?
It's not crazy when you think about the narrative. That's the key bit, because there will be a sect of your fan base that were not for Frank coming. He's not a big enough name. He hasn't got a big enough history.
Sure.
And as soon as you get a defeat, they're gonna be the space is there for them to start opening their voice. That's the key to it. And this is why it's always going to be hard for a manager coming into Spurs who's not classed as a Mourinho or whoever it is coming in. As soon they don't get the rope that a big name does. And this is why for Spurs it's extremely important that you better damn well start well this season, or this fan base will start to divide quickly. Because his name isn't big enough in terms of what he's won and what he's achieved for him to be given that, let's give him the whole season and see what he does. And I think that's irrespective of whether or not his back's properly in the window or not. If you'd brought in, let's say you brought Klopp in and you lost 4-0 yesterday, there's no one in your fan base who's going to say
agreed.
Anything. Do you know what I mean? It's
absolutely, mate. I just find it hilarious, right? That look, we can have the banter on the panel shows or whatever, but for a club that did finish 17th and that did lose 22 league games, I don't know if everyone thought that Frank was going to come in, have 4 weeks with the players, traveling all around the world and having hardly any time on the training pitch, and suddenly we were going to just rock up to Bayern Munich and be the better team. And I get it. We don't want to lose 4-0, but surely any manager needs 3, 4, 5 months to get their feet under the table, right? To get some ideas across and work on the defense and the midfield. It's madness.
But the narratives are always depending on the situation, because I'm trying to think. I can't think of a manager. You might be able to come up with one. I'll tell you who. Amorim. When he came in November time, what were all the Man U fans saying? Yeah, he needs a pre-season to get his ideas across. This pre-season thing does get used for managers who come mid-season. If you've got Frank who's come in for the pre-season and had the pre-season, then he doesn't get that excuse because he's had the pre-season, even though you could argue, when does a pre-season start? Because the planning has to begin in, say, June time or whatever, in terms of the recruitment, in terms of who you should be targeting and everything like that. This is always, mate, we know the game. This is always going to be the way. If someone doesn't want a manager, there is always going to be 101 reasons you can find for not having the manager. And if you do want the manager, you can find 101. I mean, I don't know if you saw us with Igal yesterday on Pots's.
Do you know what? I mean, I literally streamed for about 10 hours straight yesterday. And then I jumped into bed and I thought, let me check, because I'm normally on that show. Let me check. And I saw, Igal. I thought, well, this is going to be fun. I watched 10 minutes of Igal still glazing for Arteta.
Exactly my point. So he can find whatever reason, when the whole world can see what the problem is at Arsenal. I mean, he sat there and said that Arteta was a genius, that he was better than Wenger in Wenger's. I said to him, in Wenger's worst iteration, he's still been better than Arteta in his best iteration. He disagreed. So you can find reasons for whatever you want based on the narrative you want. I just think that that's sector of the fan base that wasn't sold by Thomas Frank being a big name. We'll find these reasons, and this to me is going to dictate what happens in your season. I think you got quite an easy start, haven't you? You got like Burnley and I don't know what the first couple of games are like for Spurs, but they looked okay from what I remember.
Right. So sorry, just eating chocolate hobnobs for breakfast. How unhealthy of me. Well, we start with PSG on Wednesday night.
Well, that's going to cause a split in your fan base again.
Of course. Right, then Burnley at home, then Man City away. So of Thomas Frank's games, right, I'm not counting Wickham and Luton on the same day, 2 games in one day, which was mad. Of Thomas Frank's pre-season and start to the campaign, we would have gone Arsenal, Newcastle, Bayern Munich, PSG, Burnley, City. I mean, it's not like we haven't even put any games in there on tour where you go, okay, do you know what I mean? It's gone straight into the fire.
But if I try to put the Thomas Frank out hat on, you can start asking some questions, because you look at Arsenal, Newcastle, Bayern Munich, they're all Champions League teams this season.
Sure. And
I think you played really well against Arsenal, but I'd say it was a good defensive performance against Arsenal. Yeah. This is, if I was going to point a finger at Frank, it would be, can he do the defensive and the offensive at the same time on the pitch? That would be so, because I've always had him down. He's quite a defensive manager at his time in Brentford, as in he's organized them well from the back. They're very good at counter-attacking. Is that system going to suit the Spurs fan base? But you would expect, as you keep telling me what a big club Spurs are, that you should be able to compete in the Champions League. You shouldn't be going there just to make up some numbers. Like, you should be at least trying to get to the knockout stages, in my opinion.
But Wolfie, doesn't this all depend on? And listen, I don't disagree with you. But
yeah, remember, I'm putting the Frank hat.
Yeah. No, I know, and I don't disagree with that version of you, right? But I look at it, right, and I when I look at things, I try and look at, okay, when a new manager comes, what are we giving him to start with? To say, right, here's the best tools to start. And I don't mean Florian Wirtz. I keep using it. I don't mean we're signing Isaks. But this is a manager that throughout all of pre-season until last week has been given Mohamed Kudus, right? He's lost Maddison. He hasn't had Maddison all pre-season. I think he's played about 18 minutes. He's had no Maddison, no Kulusevski. Son's gone. Solanke hasn't played pre-season. So this is
He
a guy
should.
that those 4 players between them, whatever we think of them, this isn't me going, oh my God, suddenly I rate Solanke. But of those 4 players, Wolfie, that's over 78 goal contributions from last season. So at the moment, all the players that he's got in the forward and attacking areas, they're not goal scorers. They're not creators. They're reactors, if you will.
But I could
And
devil's advocate you and say,
go for it.
when Ange was having his injuries,
He never lost all of these players at once. He never.
Yeah, but you were saying manager needs to find a way to kind of fix it up.
Yeah, sure, but there's a difference between finding a way to fix it up when you're mid-season and you go through these problems, and not ever having those players to begin with.
No,
Like,
I do agree with that because, again, this comes to your board, mate, because Chelsea have just lost Colwell. Do we sit here expecting Chelsea to not replace Colwell and not replace him within a week? Yeah, whereas I look at Maddison and I think, okay, this is going to be Spurs taking their time, figuring out what can we get for the best deal, which has got a 2-for-1 sale on it as well. Whereas at this stage of the transfer window, I'm having it myself with Forest. Don't get me wrong, I'm getting pissed off with some of the lack of signings we've had. But you got a clear creativity issue for me in the middle of that park, which Maddison can solve, but he's just been inconsistently fit for a long period of time.
I agree.
And I would go a step further. Even with Maddison, even if he didn't get the ACL, there's no way you can rely on Maddison to be fit for the whole of that season. So this problem should have been, I get you tried to address it with Gibbs White. We're not going to do a whole Gibbs White thing. But once Gibbs White was not on the table, that's been like 2 or 3 weeks, bro. Like, why hasn't there been movement to replace that signing that you missed out on with someone else? Because Gibbs White, I mean, we discussed it, like who would start when it looked like he was going to you. Will it be Gibbs White? Will it be Maddison, etc.? There's been too much time for it to be an excuse. I'm not buying if people are saying, well, Maddison only got injured a couple of days ago. The point here is you lost out on Gibbs White 2 or 3 weeks ago. Where's the, okay, who's number 2 in our list? That's the thing. So you are moving very, very slow in this transfer window.
But this is why, at the moment, I look at this and say to myself, okay, what do we need? And you're right. This is what we debated on our show last night. It was, instead of waiting for Maddison to pick up the season-ending injury, and it will be a season-ending injury. If he gets back fit, it will be like end of March, April, right? We should have been going and buying competition for Maddison. And what will happen now, Wolfie, is when we go and buy a number 10, which I'm pretty sure will probably be really underwhelming, but when we go and buy a number 10, people will go, there you go, we've signed. All you've done is replace what we already had. We haven't actually added or bolstered quality to the squad that is going into the Champions League. So what we should be doing is, you've got Maddison, let's speak, but before he gets injured, right? Well, bearing in mind, he's literally come back from an injury like the week before. What we should have been doing is going, okay, we need someone to rival Maddison, and we might be looking at moving Maddison on in a year. Okay, let's go and get a McAtee who can play behind Maddison, but we know he's going to get a lot of game time because he's young and fit and Maddison's going to be injured. And then next year, McAtee's got a year under his belt. There's your main man. Now we're in a position where you go, well, now we need 2. Now we need
that's a good point.
And a McAtee. And this is my biggest issue with it, mate, is we're never proactive. Everything we do, Sonny leaving, this club this week should be ready to announce a successor to Son. Right? But
is it a surprise to you that Sonny left this summer?
No.
So it shouldn't be a surprise to your board,
right?
Who would have no doubt been having the discussions with him probably since Frank came in. Yeah, they probably would have asked Frank, look, Son has started to decline. I don't think that's too harsh to say. Do we need to move him on? Yes. Okay, who are we bringing in? You don't want these gaps. It's something, again, it's not just a Spurs thing, to be fair. When you lose a player, like when Forest sold Elanga, the replacement should have been either ready straight away or before you've sold the player. That's why, as much as we banter what Newcastle have had in this transfer window, at least even through those rejections, they're trying to get an Isak replacement in before they allow him to go to Liverpool. And that's, I don't think there's an excuse for Spurs on the Sun one. because Son is clearly, embedded into Spurs. He's not going to suddenly do you dirty and tell you yesterday that I want to leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
He would have had that chat and been respectful about it. Therefore, where's the planning? And I think that specific incident kind of tells you where Spurs are in terms of their organization in this transfer window. It just feels a bit reactionary and a bit like, can we find a decent deal? I'm sure everyone, I like Paulinho, by the way. I think that's a great signing and it's a very good deal. But would that deal have been done if you were being asked to pay, say, 35-40 million up front for him?
And this is it. This is it. Most clubs in our situation would have gone. Let's liken it to Sunderland, and I'll tell you what I mean in a minute. Right? Sunderland are splashing money. Now, I'm not suggesting Spurs buy the players they're buying before anyone says anything, but Sunderland have realised, right, we're going up a level here. We need better quality. Let's be proactive. Let's go early in the market. We need better midfielders, better strikers, better defenders. They've gone boom, 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 boom. Now, it might not work, Wolfie. It might not work. They might go straight back down because it's a big gap.
Tried.
But they've tried, right? Spurs should turn around and go, we got a get out of jail free card last year, right? We had a terrible season. We got the get out of jail free card because the window we're seeing now, imagine we hadn't won the Europa League and we weren't Champions League. Just imagine, right? So we've got the get out of jail free card. Right. Going up a level into the Champions League. We've not got Europa League midweek. Right. Let's go and get 4 or 5 in. Let's go and get 4 or 5 in for pre-season tour. Let's give our brand new manager, who, bearing in mind, Wolfie, they've had to pay 8 odd million to get rid of Ange. They've had to pay 10 million to go and get Frank and his staff. So essentially, you signed Thomas Frank for 18 million quid. Give him the tools. Give him what he needs ready to go. But what we're doing, Wolfie, we're sitting here 5 days before a UEFA Super Cup final, right? 9 days before the Premier League starts. We're sitting here going, there you go, you got Kudus and Paulinho, who's played 60 minutes of football in the last 6 months. So he's clearly not fit, not embedded in. This is not the ambition of a team. This is not the ambition of owners who want to back the manager and that want to give the fans and the manager the best fighting chance this season. It's not.
I think an interesting question is, what is Frank doing about it? Because you would expect that any manager who's come is say when he's talking to Spurs about signing on for Spurs as manager, the conversation of transfer budget and players is going to be discussed before he agrees to signing. It will be more in depth than what I'm about to say, but I would expect a conversation to have happened, say, between him and Levy or whoever, and say, right, when you come in, we got a transfer budget of 200 million or whatever. We're looking to, and he would have said, right, I've kind of seen the Spurs team. I would like to strengthen here, here, and here, and whatever. Question is, if those conversations have happened, I'm assuming they are, is Thomas Frank saying anything back to them to say, right, you agreed to me when I signed that there would be a 200 million budget. This would happen. We would sign this. Sure. We are now a week away from the Premier League. Or what is the date today? Yeah, it starts next Friday, doesn't it? Liverpool.
It starts next Friday, yeah.
Yeah. We're a week away and you've only brought me in 1 player and 1 loan with an option to buy. Like, is he kicking back, or is there a chance that he has come in as a bit of a yes man?
I think the difficulty with that question is we could probably sit here and discuss that for a year, and none of us would have the behind the scenes knowledge to know whether he has. But I think Thomas Frank's a very astute man. I think this is the problem. Everyone's looking at the way Spurs are playing. I think he's looking at some of these players going, I know what I need. He's not silly. He's a coach. He's a very well-drilled, experienced football manager. I'm sure he is asking a question. The question's going to be, is Daniel Levy going to give anyone what they want? And listen, we're going to find out, Wolfie. We've got 24 days of a transfer window left, right? We're going to find out. I think what we're going to do...
agree with me, Savva. I think that's too late because I personally like my players in for, like, Forest went away to Portugal where they played a couple of games, but it was more so the bonding off the pitch. They were like 24/7 together. I want my players in that session so that they're involved not only in the tactics,
you know what I said,
but learning.
But isn't that's what I said? That's what I want. That's what most Spurs fans want. What I'm saying is now we've now got 24 days to rescue this window to show. Like, here you go, and I don't think I'm being hyperbolic here. If Spurs had anything about them, right? If Tottenham had anything about them, what we would be doing right now is we would be going out and getting Eze, Wissa, and Grealish on loan. If we had anything about us, we would go, right, there you go, Thomas, completely revamp your forward line. That's what we would be doing if we were a proper club with Champions League ambition. And no one can tell me we can't afford Wissa. No one can tell me we can't afford Eze. And Jack Grealish on loan, we could afford his 300 grand a week wages. And I'm not, by the way, I'm using those three just as a benchmark, right?
Yeah.
But
I hear what you're saying. You're not talking about going and getting an Isak, and I get that. You're talking about kind of realistic targets.
Exactly.
Vissa, it's very rare you see a manager switch clubs and then doesn't take with him some of his trusted players. Do you know what I mean? Like from his old team. It's very rare you see that. I'm surprised that you weren't seriously in for Mbeumo. I know there was talks and stuff, and he said he wanted to Man U, so you can let that one go. But even Norgard, I think Norgard's looked quite good for Arsenal in the pre-season. You could have got Norgard's gone in as a backup if we're realistic about the starters.
Yeah, sure.
I'm surprised that Thomas Frank hasn't said, or Spurs haven't gone to Brentford to get Norgard in, and you're going to start here. He knows Frank, he knows his system. To get in Vissa, which would be the last one that's left that you would look unless you're looking at Henry as the fullback. Getting Vissa should be an absolute no-brainer and shouldn't be that difficult to do. We've already seen him go on strike. He clearly doesn't want to stay at Brentford. If you have to overpay, well, tough. You've left it too late in the window. You could have done those negotiations.
Can I tell you why we didn't get Norgard?
Go on.
How old's Norgard? 31?
31, yeah.
Yeah, we won't buy a 31-year-old.
How old's Paulinho?
We've loaned Paulinho, right? I fully expect
a long receipt on that, yeah.
I fully expect that Spurs will loan him for a 5 million loan fee. Fine. Because let's be fair. All right, you pay his wages, 165 grand a week. You pay his wages, which that, by the way, that's just taken over from what we were paying Timo Werner, 165 grand a week. There's no risk on it at the end of the season. If he doesn't do well, we're not stuck with a 30, 31-year-old that we can't get rid of, right? With a Norgard, are they going to go and buy a 31-year-old where there's no sell-on value, yada, 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 yada? I don't think they are. But
it was 10 mil, bro. It was 10 mil.
Mate, but this is how Tottenham operate. I agree, Wolfie. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like when a lot of people see me on screen, like, we won't do that. Like, Savva doesn't want. No. Listen, for me, I'd love us to buy a few people like that. But let me show you this, right? And we can fiddle about with this, right? Have a look at that 11, right? Just so I can't get it all onto one screen. The goalkeeper is Vicario, right?
Yeah.
Have a look at that 11 compared to what you saw last night. If Tottenham went in with that 11, now somebody said, all right, change Grealish for this guy. Okay, cool. We'll chuck in Matoma. Another one who'll be about 50, 55 million, right? Look at that. Now, all of a sudden, Wolfie, look how that changes the dynamic of this team, of the season, of the way we attack. Look at the difference, right, that free signings will make to this football club. And we're sitting there with Johnsons, Richarlisons, Tells, Odebers, Solomons, Solanke. Right? Look at the difference. Now, realistically, what you're talking 70 million for Eze, right? I think we all know it's going to be 70 million pounds. Wissa, 40 million, 110. Matoma, 50, right? You're talking about 160 million. Plus Kudos was 55. That would be 215 million pounds, right? For one of the richest clubs on the planet, who are in the Champions League, who have just lost Son, just lost Maddison. Why can a club like Tottenham, put your hate for Tottenham aside, how can a club like Tottenham not have achieved something like this during this transfer window?
Well, it's actually worse than that. How much did you say the total spend would be? About 200 mil?
I think roughly those four would be about 215 million, which is what
that would be a 40 million cost for you on PSR this year. When you talk about it properly in terms of the importance of PSR, you do the amortization, you divide that by 5, you're looking at 40 million. And this is how, you know what surprised me the most in this? Well, 2 points. Firstly, I do like that team. And what that automatically does is give you squad depth because you're putting a Solanke on the bench, Brennan Johnson on the bench.
Yeah.
Who,
And then Kulu's got to come back in. And
when he comes back in, then you got competition, say, with Eze and what have you. So that automatically gives you strength. What has surprised me the most is that you guys have allowed Man U, who lost the final to you, to revamp their whole front line. A Man U team that is traditionally one of the slowest to work in the transfer window, that does it one player at a time, one player at a time, one player at a time. Why didn't you go in for Sesko? Now, I don't rate Sesko, but I'm just talking in terms of movement. Because how can you guys go into this Champions League campaign and be serious about it? If your window doesn't improve, there's only one clear message that Levy's sending, and he's saying, thank you for the participation and we'll take our check, please, UEFA, because that's what we're here for. We're not serious about trying to, I'm not saying go win it, but at least run a campaign within the Champions League to show that there's that ambition. As you keep telling me, you got to a final. That team you've currently got, I don't even know if it makes it out the group stages.
Well, this is the thing. Do you know what? And this is why it's very important. When we have the conversation, let's use Man United as the benchmark. Whatever we think of Sesko personally, by the way, I think he's a good player that will improve.
That's irrelevant, though, isn't it? It's the fact that you didn't move for him. Yeah.
Right. The point is, Man United have identified those three are going to revamp our forward line. Right. And I said this on the show last night. By them spending, I think it works out to 210, 215 million for those three. Right. By giving Ruben Amorim those three players, next season, anybody that wanted to support Amorim or says it's not his fault because he's got Højlund and Zirkzee, now he's got nowhere to look for the reason to not scoring goals. They have backed him. They have backed him to the hilt, right? And he has clearly said, I want all three of these players. And as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen that Man U have been in for anyone else other than those three.
Belabor, mate.
No, I mean, in terms of the forward players.
Oh, they tried on Gyökeres. The thing is,
fair.
Man U still, I hate to say, I can't stand them. They are my most hated Premier League team. But the thing is, they're still on fumes, aren't they? They still can use the Man U name to pull players in. But there's no way they should have been allowed to get those three players. Now, I think Mbeumo and Cunha as a double 10 is going to be disgusting for them. I really do. And that makes me sick. Isn't it? Yeah. But how Spurs have not been able, if as you tell me, you're a big club, I get Man U are a bigger club. I don't think we'll debate that one. But the fact that you have Champions League and theoretically you should be consistently pushing for a Champions League is different between Spurs going up against Man U, Newcastle going up against Man U. There should be a bit more pull from Spurs than the likes of a Newcastle to be able to at least challenge Man U for this. And out of those three, I think you were only linked to Mbeumo, weren't you?
Yeah,
and it felt quite soft. Soft, yeah. So,
but the point is, Wolfie, they've gone and done what they've gone and done, right? And whether or not it's that Spurs should rival them for those players or what, Spurs should be having a window like that, right? Yeah. Spurs should be looking right now and going, okay, right, the club would have known ages ago that Sonny was going. And if not 100% that he was going, that there's a strong possibility that this is the year he goes. So we should have had, right, where's your 2-3 names where you go, right, if Sonny goes, pull the trigger on that guy, right? That's what a proper club.
Sav, we could do this between us right now. So I can give you the Son replacement in this 2-minute conversation. And I don't think you'd argue with me. It's a player who's available on the market. So it's not like you have to force him out of a club. It's a player who said he's waiting for a team with Champions League football. And it's a player who's damn good. And I'm talking about Fofana at Lyon. Fofana at Lyon wants to leave. He's a damn baller. And Forest had an agreement, whether or not the agreement's legit or not. He's pretty much said, I am waiting to get a Champions League playing club for next season. So why the hell have Spurs not done? And that's not an expensive one. You're talking 30 to 40 million.
I agree, mate. Listen,
very
there are
cheap.
players everywhere.
Mm.
Wolfie, this is the problem. There are players. By the way, I love it. Whenever I put, if I put like that up straight away, I know I'm going to get people going, have you ever thought Matoma might not want to come? Listen, I'm giving ideas. I'm sure there are many, there are many Matomas out there. There are many Ezes. There are many Wissers. Yeah. Go and get Calamawundo. Go and, Aston Villa have just signed Guasan for like 27 million. Like, again, I'm not expecting Guasan to come in and we go, oh my God, 50 goals. But he's young, he's exciting, he can play off the right, through the middle. That's what Spurs should be doing. And they're not in Champions League. So I'm looking at this right now, Wolfie. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at it right now going, do I think he'll sort us out at the back? Yes, I do. I really do. Do I think we'll be solid enough in the midfield? Yes. But going forward, mate, I am so worried. I am so worried as to if Kudus doesn't get the ball, every move breaks down with every other player.
Where are you playing him at the moment? On the right?
He's playing on the right. But he's gone from playing with Paqueta and Bowen to playing with people like Brennan Johnson and Matisse Tell. He's probably thinking, God, I've had a backward step here. I've had a backward step in terms of players I'm playing with up front.
Bro, what are you doing with Tell, man? Honestly.
You
know what? Tell could be an issue because technically he can play on the left, yeah? Are they looking and thinking, and you've just bought him. I know he was on loan with you last season, but is he the Son replacement from the hierarchical point of view?
It looks like it. And when people say, why would Matoma come? I'm sorry, right? Let's break this down. Even my man Wolfie, who mocks Spurs, right? In panel shows, right? Let's look at this. And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know why Wolfie's so harsh on Spurs, his brother's a Spurs fan. Wolfie, let's be brutally honest. I'm not talking about how much money it would take with Brighton. I'm not talking about negotiations with Brighton. I'm talking about club to player. If Tottenham Hotspur go in for Matoma, are we really saying this boy wouldn't want to come and play for us in the Champions League? Are we really saying that?
You can put any Brighton player name in there. One thing that is guaranteed certain about Brighton is they will sell at the right price or an overinflated price. They're discussing Baleba with Man U. They haven't said no to Man U. They said talk to us at 120 mil. I think I saw a report on it. Brighton are renowned to sell because they trust their model that they can then find the next Baleba, the next Matoma coming in. That's their design. There is no player in that Brighton squad that isn't for sale at what they deem the right price. That's the thing here. So would Matoma leave Brighton? Yes, he would. Would he leave to play Champions League? Yes, he would. Would it probably cost you quite a bit? Because I think there was a 90 million bid from Saudi, wasn't there, in January, if I remember rightly, on him. And either they rejected or he rejected. I can't remember which way around. And in fact, no, they accepted and he rejected the move, if I remember rightly. Therefore, Brighton will accept fees on him. Will he move? Of course he will. Of course he will. All about... But are you prepared to pay that money for him?
See, I saw earlier in the window that apparently with his contract situation that he's available for 45 to 50 million euros because when Bayern were looking at him, but they went for Luis Diaz instead. But the point is, whether we talk about Eze, Fofana, Matoma, I think what we can all agree on is there's loads of players out there better than what we've got that Tottenham Hotspur can attract. And I'm not saying we won't. There is still 24 days. But right now, Spurs are in between a rock and a hard place. Spurs are in a position where you've just lost your playmaker, having already lost Kulu, who's your other playmaker. Son's gone, which we surely would have known about. And at the moment, we don't know what's happening with Solanke. He's missed all of pre-season other than, I think, about 45 minutes in the first game against Reading. So we're going into this season with no goals, no assists, no creativity. And people are going, oh, the football's not very good. Well, who's getting on the ball? Who is it that people think in that 11, Wolfie, is going to make things happen? I'm confused.
I hear it, mate. I hear it, but I still think you have to question the manager's voice in this. A manager is most powerful in a club the day he first walks in. A manager should be expected to walk in there and say, we've had X agreement, where show me the money, show me the players. Okay, that's crazy, man. I wouldn't
That
even
is
say that on
mad.
the channel, man. Seriously. Like, and we can list players off. Could you imagine if Spurs Akliouche is available? Leverkusen are now looking at him. He is one of the most unspoken about players in world football right now.
I like him.
50 mil gets him done. He will destroy any fullback he comes up against in the Premier League. He is that good. No one is after him. I've been freaking sending smoke signals to Forest saying, please try. You know what I'm saying? And like I think Leverkusen got linked with him yesterday or the day before. These are the players that will change the dynamic. You don't need to go and get a Grealish, who people say is coming to the end of his career, 300k, what have you. An Akliouche, a Fofana. There's the wingers sorted. What's his name? Makatadze. How do you say his name? Is Makatadze, isn't it? The Leon guy. He's brilliant. Go get him. These are simple players at very, very low cost prices that can be done very quickly. My concern, if I was a Spurs fan, is I'm not even really seeing those links. Every now and again, I'll see a crazy one, a Rodrigo, a Leao, and all this, and I'm looking at it laughing.
Our director of football, and listen, I'm not saying if this is right or this is wrong. I'm not saying I like him, but the problem is Johan Lang works in the dark. So what you'll see with nearly every deal that we do, nothing. Suddenly Ornstein will go Spurs in talks with, and you're like, what? Where did that? Now that's fine, but I'll tell you, it's not fine as a YouTuber, Wolfie. That's fine.
You see nothing, no?
Right? Yeah. That's fine as long as when that news pops up, it's a player that improves us. If we want to move in the dark, we want to do all that, great. But where's that got us to date? Where's that got us by the 8th of August? Working in the dark. So what, is everyone rejecting us?
You'd still expect the leaks from the other side. Like, just say you went in for, I don't know, Fofana, yeah, and you kept it in the dark. I would expect Fofana's agent start making a noise to try and drive his player's price up. So unless they're doing a call saying, Leon Fofana, 40 mil, it's a yes or no before we hang the call up. Do you know what I mean? I still would expect there to be some leakage, at least from the other side as well.
I agree. Look, I think the difficulty is when a director of football works in the dark, whatever. I mean, Spurs put out this really cheesy campaign, daring in the darkness. And it was like, oh, fuck off. We're not daring to do anything, let alone in the light or the dark. The problem is what it does with all of us. And again, it's one of those that we'll never know. We don't know what he's been doing. So from the outside, like when somebody said this, which is quite funny, right? So somebody said here, does he actually work? Now, the problem is I've got no doubt that as a director of football at a big club like Tottenham, this guy is working like mad behind the scenes. The problem is because we don't know, because like Sean makes a good point. Newcastle United have done everything right out in the public, haven't they? Trafford, Alanga, Sesko, Ekatike, Yao Pedro, they've done everything and they're just getting rejected. So at least people go, oh, well, they're trying, which I agree with. But at the same time, we don't know. Did we all like let me use a player, for example. Did Spurs maybe speak? I don't know. Did Spurs ask Sesko's agent and Sesko's agent said he's not interested? We don't know. We just don't know. So on the outside looking in, we're all going, come on, this is your job. For all we know, he could be pulling 24-hour shifts on the phone.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Sav. What is the advantage of him working in the dark if this dark thing is there?
I guess. I mean, look, again, I'm not saying. I'm just going to try and throw some light on it that people might say. I suppose you could say that it means that no one no one knows the deals that we're doing, so we can't be hijacked. But in the world of intermediaries and agents, they all talk anyway. I guess it means that we're not publicly ridiculed if we don't get a player. I don't know. For me, I want to know. I want to know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't look. If your answer back to me was because you're going for I don't know, Akliouche, and you're doing it undercover so that no one else comes in and what have you, fine. I just don't believe it because again, the player's agent is not just going to say, right, Spurs only. They're not going to sign an NDA to keep the discussions quiet. He's going to want to drive up the price for his client. I don't see the benefit of this working in the dark thing, unless you're saving on electricity or something. I don't know. But like, there's no real. I'm sure there must be something that I can't think of. But in this day and age where everything is leaked, including team sheets, including all these little secrets, why keep this one in the dark when, to be honest, rumors actually keep fan bases appeased? Because if I know my team hasn't brought anyone in and I'm seeing at least links, then I'm thinking, okay, I don't always have to believe the links, but at least there's connections to players and it sounds like there's movement.
There's a comfort, isn't there? When you see Ornstein or Romano or Plettenberg say a club to player talks, and you go, oh, okay, no deal yet, but okay, you kind of get all warm and fuzzy inside. At the moment, so I think Spurs fans, to be fair to us, we go through the ringer a bit. We really do go through the ringer a bit with this. And the way I see it is this. Tottenham Hotspur, are we the biggest club in the world? No. Can we compete with City, Liverpool, Arsenal? No. Should we be able to, out of nowhere, announce a Wissa? Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Is anyone telling me that we can't go? So Ben Jacobs has just said this. Sorry for often a slight tangent. Ben Jacobs has just said this. He said, Johan Wissa still prioritizing EPL move over Saudi. Both Saudi clubs believe Brentford will sell for around 40 million, and that's Neom and Al Nassr. However, Wissa wants to play Champions League and is prepared to wait for Newcastle or another club with Europe. Brentford now prepared to sell Wissa once a replacement is found. Now, Brentford this morning have also just opened talks with Ouattara of Bournemouth.
Yeah, from Bournemouth, yeah.
Right. So again, a club that know Wissa's going. We all know Wissa's going. What's stopping Tottenham right now? We're a big club. We're not the biggest, but we're big enough that we could rock up right now to Brentford and go 40, 45, done. Why I'm not asking for Florian Wirtz, Wolfie. I'm not asking for Isak. Yeah. That deal should be a deal where Tottenham go, boom. And you know what? I'll even be angry if we get him in now because it's a deal we should have been able to get in before pre-season.
Should have been in with Frank, yeah. I agree. I think the Wissa one is down to a couple of reasons. And this isn't me justifying it because Forest have been heavily interested in Wissa as well since January. What Brentford value Wissa at and what it seems every other club value Wissa at is nearly half the price. Brentford won about 40 million. I think Forest put 2 bids in for him, one in January for 25 and one this summer for 21. Now, there's been a lot of talk that there's been a gentleman's agreement for 26 mil, I think it is, for Wissa. I think it's a little harsh just to point the finger at Spurs on this one, because I think a lot of clubs have known or heard about that, and they don't want to go to 40 million. And I think
I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying. It's not specifically him.
Callum Mundo, Igor Pashao, who moved to Marseille. Marseille have just bought Zagrova. Players like this.
Why are you not after Quetta? Sitting there.
Right. My point isn't, sorry, I want to make this clear. It's not so much that it's just about Wissa. It's about all these players that are 35, 40 million, 45 million. Tottenham Hotspur have got that money and some, right? We should be able to go now and do what Villa have done. Go and do what Villa have done. Even Gossan, boom, through the door. All of a sudden, we're sitting here going, okay.
They hijacked that. That's Palace, didn't they?
Right. But do you see what I mean? Everton are making bids for footballers. Like, Everton are
putting a good team together.
I agree. Now, listen, I don't want dibbling, so hopefully people take this the right way. But if Everton are just rocking up and going, we'll offer you 40 plus 5 for dibbling, and obviously they're saying no, how are Everton rocking up and putting those prices down and Tottenham can't find any players? You know, I'm not asking for the world, but in a window, it cannot be Kudus as the only first team signing and then Paulinho on loan. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like those two players. I'm fully behind those two players. But right now, what are we doing? Like now we're seeing that Tottenham are in for Nico Paz, right? Now, Nico Paz of Como is a very good player.
Yeah.
But a very complicated deal. Real Madrid have a 50% sell-on clause from when they sold him to Como.
50, wow.
50%. And there's another clause in there as well. I'm not 100% sure what it is. But you just think, why do we always go for these difficult ones? Why are we always involved in these difficult deals? Why are we not scouting the Pashaus, the Fafanas, the Mikatadzis? Why, even the boy you signed, do I like, Ndoye? Why are we not scouting these footballers? But we can go and get Tell because we've got a relationship with Bayern Munich. You know, it's just frustrating.
Are you still linked with Bilal El Khanous? He's still was. I heard you were linked to the Leicester boy.
Yeah, but again, it's another one, Wolfie.
That's a release clause.
It's another one where he's had 1 year in the Premier League and got relegated. I'm not blaming him for the relegation. He's got 1 year experience. He's £22 million because of the relegation release clause. And I just sit there and think, let me ask you this, Wolfie. Should Spurs be able to sign players like that if we're not in the Champions League? Should we get El Khanous if we're not in the Champions League? Yeah. Right, we should.
Because I'll tell you why. Leeds are after him as well.
Right. So no offense to Leicester, but if Tottenham rock up and ask for any Leicester City player, we're getting him, right? Any Leicester City player is going to turn and go, Tottenham want me, yeah, I'm all in, right? Yes, before Wayne Holland says it, I know you won the league. I know you won the league. I know you won the league. That was a while ago. But I don't want us to be signing players in this window that we can sign when we're not in the Champions League. That defeats the point completely of getting in the Champions League, getting that revenue, and trying to build and grow as a club. So at the moment, I'm not seeing us having a window which suggests, you know what, we're serious. And I don't mean to win it. I don't mean to win the Champions League, but have a go. Like, look at Villa last year in the Champions League. They gave such a good account of themselves.
I don't even think it's about you having a go, mate. Like, if I'm being serious here, I think you got away with murder last year. I don't think that's harsh to say, right? You should not be in the Champions League right now. But, you know, lesser of two evils, I'd rather you were in it than Man U. Anyway, this should be an opportunity for you to raise what you need to do, because I'm not even joking here. You're not, for me, on the same level as the other 5 big 6 teams. You have a gap to do them.
Nowhere near.
Now, your objective right now should be, you're not going to win the Champions League, you're not going to win the league. But you can, because of the Champions League, just bridge that gap a little bit towards those top 5. If you want us as non-Spurs fans to actually believe that you're a big 6 club on the pitch as well as off the pitch, I need to see that gap to those other 5 teams close. You could do that because of the word Champions League this season.
And the revenue we've got.
Yeah, and the revenue and the money you can spend on these players. At some point, there has to be enough is enough. If we're meant to, if you're meant to be this club that has this money, then show some muscle and show that you can do what a Chelsea have done. Chelsea, let's not forget, Chelsea were finishing 10th or 12th the other season. They went and just invested. They were behind you 2 years ago, man. They're so far ahead of you right now. They're so far ahead of you. Why? Because they've invested in players. They've bought players. Yes, there was some shit in there, but there was also some absolute diamonds in there. Chelsea have now, they're so clear of you, you can't see them.
Mate,
yet a couple of years ago, they were way behind you.
I don't disagree. I mean, we're in the big 6 by default in terms of revenue, in terms of trophies won, but the other 5 constantly win. I know people go Arsenal, but the other 5 constantly win, constantly challenging for titles. We are there by default, but those clubs show ambition. And by the way, sorry, Jeff, big up, Jeff. Thanks for being in here. Listen, it's not snobbery, Jeff. Jeff, it's not snobbery. The whole point of what I'm saying is I'm not saying that El Khanous from Leicester's a bad footballer. You didn't hear me say that. But the point is, Jeff, and this is where I know you don't understand Tottenham. All we ever do is buy 20, 21-year-olds and hope that they become world
He's
beaters.
a Forest fan, mate. It's Forest fan.
Yeah, no, I know he's a Forest fan, right? Yeah. That's all we do, Jeff. The point that we're making is when we moved into this £1 billion stadium, our owners said that it was so we could compete. Our owners said that it was so we could buy better footballers, right? Our owners said that once we get Champions League, we're going to start buying those players. I'm not knocking the Leicester lad, but Jeff, we've got loads of players at that ilk. We've got the Bergvals, we've got the Greys, we've got the Sars, we've got the Tells, we've got the Odebers. We now need some quality. So it's not snobbery. We need some quality. Otherwise, all we're doing is stockpiling loads of young players and hoping that by this time next year, they're all going to be great. Listen,
But I don't even think that's the best point you made on that. I think Spurs or Forest or Leeds or whoever can get El Canoes because he does want to play in the Championship. The point you made about could you get him without Champions League, the answer is a straight up yes. Because if you don't go, if you don't go in for him and Leeds are the only ones going in for him, he will join Leeds. He does not want to play Championship next season, not with that release clause. So that point is a valid one, and it's one I've put to Pete, our mate, the Newcastle fan. I've said to him, the players you've bought so far, could you have bought them if you missed out on Champions League last season? You bought Elanga and Ramsdale, and we both agreed yes, you could. Like, you and Newcastle haven't utilized this Champions League tag this transfer window.
Can I let me put it another way to Jeff? If Tottenham Hotspur had gone out and bought Eberechi Eze for 70 million, and we're saying that's our main man, that's our playmaker, yeah, that's the guy. You make him your highest paid player, most expensive ever transfer fee, and you say, Eze, you're playing every game, right? Which we should be able to do. If you do that, and then at the end of the window, Spurs turn around and go, right, I'll tell you what, an option's become available, El Canoes. Okay. Yeah, get him in. Get him in. Let him learn from an Eze. Let him be in and around the squad. Let's rotate him in for cup games and getting him minutes here, there, whatever, right? That's fine. But not as the main man, Jeff. This is the point. You've got to understand. Like Wolfie said, if we want to try and catch up with the top five, at the moment, El Canoes aren't doing it. He's a good player. Technically, he's very good. I enjoyed watching bits of him. But again, this is not what Chelsea would do this.
Player, bro. He will be good.
He will be good. I've got no doubt.
But he's not ready. I mean, and I say this with no due respect to Leicester, man. He was playing in a shit team last season, and he was able to shine in that shit team. He would not shine in a better team. He would be good, but he's not going to shine out because of how shit Leicester were.
Reese, listen, you keep coming onto my show every day, mate, and just saying silly things. So yet Savva will say that, then laugh at the idea of us signing quality like a Rodrigo. Hold your horses, right? First and foremost, Rodrigo is a £90 million footballer who plays for the greatest club on the planet. Is that fair? Right? He plays for Real Madrid and is worth £90 million. Why I laugh at when we're rumoured to be with him, I don't believe the rumour in any way, shape or form, Reese, right? And I don't believe a deal for this would be done. There is a difference between me wanting us to sign better players and understanding the level of footballer that Tottenham can buy. There is a food chain in football. Rodrigo, Wolfie, let me ask you right now. If Rodrigo's agent right now, Rodrigo turns around to his agent and says, right, I've had enough. I don't want to play for Xabi Alonso next season. I want to go somewhere and be the main man. Rodrigo's agent is going to be on the blower to Liverpool, to Arsenal, to Bayern Munich, to PSG. He's going to be on the blower to all of these clubs immediately. And one of them will take the bait. It's not going to be Tottenham Hotspur, is it? With all the will in the world, it's not going to be Tottenham.
Yeah, I think he just said, but doesn't it show ambition? I don't think it does. Because let's even say the reports are true. That would be like, I don't know, who's just been promoted? Leeds.
That's not.
And I'm only saying it because hopefully Joe's listening. It'll annoy him. But if Leeds came out and said, we're interested in Mohamed Salah,
Yeah.
Does that show ambition? Does that show ambition? I mean, credit to them that
Oh.
they've identified a talented player, but why is that ambition? It just means they know who a good player is and who isn't. It doesn't mean you're going to get him. It doesn't mean the conversation is even going to happen. That's the point here. So then you're linked to a Rodrigo, or I'm not even convinced you could get Leao, if I'm being honest with you.
But
It
this
was
is
probably more realistic, but he would have suitors.
Okay, so Wolfie, if me saying, do you know what? I'm happily married, but you know what? My ambition is Margot Robbie. Is that ambition, or is that me just being in utter cloud cuckoo land? Like what are we
being horny, mate?
like what are we doing? By the way, to that guy who said it, Reese, right? Do I want Spurs to sign players like Rodrigo? Of course I bloody do. Do I wish we could attract Isak and Florian Wirtz and Rodri and De Bruyne? Yes. But do you know the difference between me and you, Reese? I understand this isn't a computer game, right? Even in a computer game, probably. I get.
I was going to say, who can sign him on a Football Manager?
Right. Someone go and play Football Manager now and tell me how you get on with signing Rodrigo. This is where the world's gone mad. And this is why I always say, when people say just show ambition, showing ambition for me isn't being unrealistic. Hang on.
Yeah.
Savva,
I give you the best example?
What's your video bashing Wolfie? What video bashing Wolfie? Have I got a video bashing? Wolfie did a video bashing me. I saw that. He even sent it to me. Said, I've just done a video. I've not done a video on him. And even if I did.
Is that where the copyright strike came from?
Jesus Christ. What is, honestly, the world's gone mad. The world has gone mad. But the difference between ambition, look, this guy still, he don't get it. No, but Savva think he's got the World Cup next year. He's not getting game time at Madrid.
Okay, let me ask him this. Right, I'll give you the best example.
You think he's an alone Rodrigo? What? Wolfie,
I can give you the best example. In January, Forest spoke to Gyökeres, okay, to sign him, obviously, not just to have a deal, right? Does that mean Forest have shown ambition? Because he got rejected pretty much off the bat, but they spoke to his representatives. Does that show ambition or not? That's the thing with it. I like it. Don't get me wrong, right? I don't mind that they had the discussion. Maybe they caught him on a drunkard night or something, and Marinakis could have got signed some kind of paper or whatever. Yeah, but realistically, Forest weren't going to get him. Last summer, Forest spoke to Marmoush and nearly got him for 25 mil. That was ambitious because not many people were after Marmoush. But the realism of it is that those players are not going to come. If Spurs want to go for a Rodrigo, then go and put a title challenge together this season. Go and get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Start to build the hype up around Spurs that shows they deserve these players, rather than assume that you can get these players based on finishing 17th. So go and put a challenge together. And then, you know what? Do it the next year and the year after. And then start to build that club reputation. Bring it back to Football Manager if you want. You know, how many stars on the rep is your manager got, your club got, and everything with these bigger names? If any of the big six teams went in for Rodrigo, including Man U, I think they have a shout of getting him, apart from Spurs. I don't think you could make an argument that any of the other five teams could. Therefore, that shit clearly shows a gap between Spurs and the other five.
Let me ask you this. I don't, again, this is where I don't think a lot of fans understand how agents and intermediaries work in football transfers, right? Are you telling me if Rodrigo was going out on loan, that his agent wouldn't be able to get him a better loan move than Tottenham Hotspur? You don't think that the biggest clubs in world football are going, Rodrigo on loan? Yeah. You don't think Arsenal, our noisy neighbours, you don't think Arsenal are going to go, hang on, we're saving 90 million euros here. We'll get him on a loan and we'll buy him next year and put the revenue into next year's money.
And they need a left winger.
And they need. This is honestly. I get it when people say things like it shows ambition. I get it. But for me, it's blind. I'd rather realistic ambition. For me, we can't even get an Eze, dude. We can't get an Eze. And you're talking about going and get Rodrigo from Real Madrid. Like, honestly, which is why I don't listen. If Rodrigo signs, I'll sit here and go, fair play, Tottenham Hotspur. Wow, how did you pull that off? I'll also say to myself, what's happened here? What, like, what's happened? Has he got a broken leg or what's going on? Is he going to fail his medical? Honestly, mate, I think I think
even some of the signings that have gone to like Man City and stuff, Spurs could have been in for them. Like Cherki, for example. I think someone's just mentioned him in the chat. Cherki wasn't a freaking Mbappe name,
no,
right?
Of course.
You need to have been watching to know how good he is. And like there have been plenty of deals missed out. Plenty of deals missed out this summer. I just, mate, I don't know. I just think 6 days to go or 7 days to go, whatever it is. Well, less for you because you got the Super Cup because that's not a friendly. There's a trophy at stake.
No. Oh, mate, and I fully expect.
Yeah, you're not ready for that.
I fully expect to be humbled, and fans will lose their mind again. But it's PSG.
I don't think you'll lose heavily, mate, because I think you will approach that game in a similar style to how you approached the Arsenal game. You will look more organized. I'd give you guys like a 10-15% chance in it.
Savva being a hypocrite here when he did not give Ange time. I'm pretty sure if you go back through my videos, right? I'll tell you, I'm going to call out this clown. Absolute clown. Alex, I love you to bits. But when you do this, you then get upset when you come on, right? Because you can't back up anything you say. Do you know
Wait, can I say something on that?
Yeah. While you're doing that, just quickly, while you're doing that, I'm going to go and find my videos from when Ange signed and prove this clown wrong.
I always love calling you out on anything, but when I defend, I think I like to be quite honest. I remember we had a conversation, me and you on the phone, about 10 to 12 games into Ange's reign, where everyone was losing their heads. Spurs are going to win the league. You kept saying to me, give him more time. Don't put the pressure on him. Let's see how he develops. That was your stance on it. I remember it very clearly. And it wasn't one conversation. We had a couple on that, where every other Spurs fan was saying, we're top of the league, we've won the league. You were saying, just give him time, let him develop, see how things work out. Don't put pressure on him. So I remember that very clearly because it was an off-air phone conversation we were having back then. So that was your stance on it. Literally used the word, give him more time.
Where are we? I'm just trying to find this because I find these people hilarious who say this stuff. They don't realize that there is.
Is that actually box office?
I think it is because he does this all the time. He jumps into the comment section. Then I'll invite him on, and he won't have a clue how to articulate himself to tell me why I'm actually why I'm a hypocrite. Where is it? Where is it? I'm fine. So I'm just looking. I'm going back. I'm going back 2 years here to try and find this stuff. Sorry, Alex. Do you want to come on and tell the world why I'm a hypocrite? I was one of the fans that when he signed, there were people saying when Ange first joined, there were people saying hashtag no to Ange, and I was saying, don't be so ridiculous. Like what are we doing here? Give the guy a chance. Yeah, I've done a video.
Fake account, apparently.
If it is a fake account, then I take it back. But I don't know. I'll tell you what. Let's have a look, shall we? What time was that? 12:03. Let me go into the back stream. I can see from there, can't I? 1 sec. Hold the line, caller, because if that is Alex, here we go. Channel activity. If it is, no, it is. It is Alex. 1.63 subscribers. Yeah, joined 9 years ago. It is Alex.
Okay, it is real, apparently.
That is.
I'll tell you what, you
Alex.
get all answers in chat, don't you? It is, it isn't, it isn't.
These people crack me up, right? If they're gonna lie about me, come on and tell me to my face. Alex, you want to come on? Where are you, Alex? Yeah, I think Alex should come on and tell Wolfie why I'm a hypocrite. Honestly, Alex, I've never seen anything so ridiculous in my life. If you wanted to come on, you've got my number. Just send me a WhatsApp and say, can I come on? But if you're going to say I'm a hypocrite, unbelievable. Wolfie, let me ask you.
By the way, is there a better man bun in the YouTube world than Danny's?
No.
I didn't think so ever.
No. Hang on. Here we go. Right. So let me show you this. Right. Hang on. I need to make sure I don't get any of my.
You love being petty, bro. God.
Me? No. Listen.
The receipts out, man.
No. Listen. I don't like people lying. Here we go. Look. Okay. So here's my content. Right. Can you see? I don't know if everyone can see that. Is that a bit small?
Bit blurry.
Let's blow that up a little bit. Right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
There you go. So this was the 26th of August, 2023. So the season would have started. What does that say?
Postecoglou is magic.
Right.
Oh, was that your editor doing that for you?
Editor? Here you go. What does that say?
Postecoglou is building. Wait, and Levy is knocking it down. Oh.
Right. What does this say? Magnificent Spurs.
I can't read that. That's too small. You're going to have to read it.
Right. Magnificent Spurs batter Manchester United. Right. So many positives at Spurs. This is when Andrew just taken over.
Wait, what month are we in here?
This is in August.
Oh, August, mate. All right. Where does the change? Where do you go from Anakin to Darth Vader? Where does it happen?
Let's hang on. There is one video I did where I just said Ange is a breath of fresh air. But where is it? Let's go forward a bit then. Let's go forward a bit. Okay, so this is so Postecoglou is magic. There you go. Called him out. See, I'm fair. Shocking management. That's end of August, right?
You didn't turn on him. You didn't turn on him in August, did you?
No. Of course not. No, I just said it was shocking management, right? Postecoglou is the man. September. You see that? Postecoglou is the man.
Yeah. Where did you turn on him? I think that's
when I realised he couldn't manage.
Was it Chelsea?
A little bit after Chelsea. There you go. Look, Spurs are in a title race. Calm down, relax, and give your heads a wobble. Remember when everyone was losing their minds?
That's what I'm talking about. That's roughly the time we were having those conversations.
Right. There you go. Magnificent Postecoglou and ruthless Sonny. Hang on, we're in October now, by the way. We're in October 2023. Here we go. There you go. I'll call it out. Postecoglou tactical suicide or morally brave. That's the Chelsea game. See, so Alex, no, you don't get to say I'm a hypocrite for that because I turned on him after this guy showed me he doesn't know how to change it. So let's get him on. He'll probably make some sort of excuse, but sorry, Wolfie. It's not me being petty. I hate it when he does this. He jumps in chat rooms all the time, says this stuff, and then when he comes on, he won't be able to give anyone a clear answer as to why I'm a hypocrite.
But are you saying you turned to November? So
no, I didn't turn in November.
When did you turn? When did you turn?
I was fully Ange out the back end of that first season when we were just losing game after game after game after game. And I noticed that there was no changing the inverted fullbacks. There was no changing the gung-ho.
Yeah, if you turned on him November, I would say that's a little harsh. If you're saying back end of the
questioned
season,
him. I
no,
questioned
questioning
him.
is fine. There's no problem questioning.
I
Like
questioned the man.
I have my questions about Nuno, for example. I'm not Nuno out, I'm Nuno in, but I have questions about some of the stuff he's doing. There's no problem with that, in my opinion. If you wait until the end of the season, towards the end of the season, and yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But
Listen,
what's the question? What's the question? Is it when you turned on him or that you were Ange out?
I don't know. He's turned around and said I'm a hypocrite. But being a hypocrite would surely mean that I was Ange out the way these people are Frank out from the get-go. Right? Even here, right? I've got a video here, 13th of November, saying Spurs must back Ange in the market. But next one, Spurs desperate for defensive reinforcements to help Ange. Right? So this is the problem. I've got the receipts because it's my channel, right? I've got the receipts that I can bring up and show. But when people just spout nonsense, I will call that shit out. I will call that shit out. Sorry.
You know what I love? I'm sure you can relate to this, right? There's so many times where someone in my chat will be like, yo, I said this about this player, as in them. They said this about this player, but you said the other about the other player. I'm like, bro, everything I've said is recorded, right? Obviously, whatever I say, people can go back and get receipts. But when people in the chat claim it, we don't know if you did claim it or not. You know, there's no receipts on what you're saying. So it's very easy to write in the chat 6 months later and say, yeah, I thought he was going to be the man, or this player was going to evolve and what have you. So I get it with Chris Wood all the time. Chris Wood was an absolute dud under Cooper. And I was like, this is one of the worst signings we've ever done. But when Nuno came in, I put a video out saying Chris Wood will work under Nuno. Yet people ignore that and be like, yeah, but you said Chris Wood was a dud. You said Chris Wood. And I was right. I said to him, I was right. Chris Wood was a dud under Cooper because Cooper didn't know how to use him. In Nuno, he works. But yeah, our receipts are there. Fortunately or unfortunately, they're all there, man. They're all there. They don't get deleted. Do you know what?
Here you go. 19th of February. 19th of February, 2024. Time, patience, and quality needed. Spurs fans need to relax on Ange. There you go. That's February 2024. So we're nearly at the end. Then in June 2024, as I've said, Ange needs to adapt his tactics to stay as manager at this club. So it's a full year after he joined. A full year is when I first started doing videos of, I don't trust this guy. Right?
Yeah, I have no issues with that length of time. To be fair, with Cooper, I turned on him in November of our first season. But I'd seen enough from August to November to know he wasn't going to be the guy.
Oh, mate, listen, when Ange first came in, right, what happened was everyone, because he had that amazing start, what happened was everyone started talking about nonsense like winning the league, right? And then anyone who had their feet on the ground, fans like me, said, hang on, relax. Nah, get on board. You're negative. And I'm like, no, yeah, but we're not going to win the league, right? We're not going to win the league.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else then started going, oh, why are we suddenly losing loads of games? Hang on, Daniela. Hang on, Daniela. No, I said he got his tactics wrong in that game. I wasn't questioning him whether he should be our manager or not. I've just shown you the receipts. Literally, this is what I love, Wolfie. I've literally just shown everybody the videos I've done and the titles from 2 years ago, and people are still making stuff up. It's utterly madness. Look, what are you? Where are you going to finish? Are you going to finish above Spurs this year?
Yep. We'll finish 17th. We'll finish 17th above Spurs.
You think we're going to get relegated?
No, I don't think you get relegated. I mean, I've been having this debate with Joe. You know Joe. You've done loads of Joe. I love Joe.
That's me.
Yeah. And I keep saying to him, look, I would like Leeds to stay up. Even though I'm not a massive fan of Leeds, I still in my mind, I like a Premier League that has the traditional teams. I would like to see Sheffield Wednesday back in there. I would like to see, I don't know, a Coventry back in there. I say to Joe, the gap from the promoted teams now to the other 17 is going to cost you, I think, about 200 to 250 million just to bridge that gap. Spending 100 million doesn't do it. We saw Ipswich spend loads of it. We are. We are exactly agreed. But
See, I can't even have a bet with Wolfie because he doesn't bet. I can't even have a bet with him.
I don't bet. But
I'll have to bet with this guy. Do you know this person?
I can't tell by the tag. Usually it comes up with a name.
Mate, what's your name go by? For some reason, my channel keeps doing this thing with the tags. What's your name
There's
go
something
by,
wrong
mate?
with StreamYards on it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I've tried for a month to change this back to how it used to be. I've asked Grok, I've asked ChatGPT, Google, I've watched YouTube videos on it. I cannot change the settings, and I don't know how to do it.
And yet they're tripling their prices, bro. Like, that. Don't even get me started. I was one NFC. Shout out to you. It's coming up as your at ID. That's why.
I just can't. Yeah, I just don't know why I can't do it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, but what was the question? Yeah, so look, I don't think any team outside of, say, Brentford and Wolves, maybe, and to a certain extent West Ham, will be in trouble of relegation. You might see a Leeds stay up. I don't think Sunderland will. They've spent 100-odd million. People are trying to glaze what they've done. The gap is huge, man. It's huge between the promoted and the other ones. Where do I think Forest will finish? Logically speaking, I don't think we do as well as we did last season. But when I assess the teams that finished below us, at the moment, I look at, have those teams improved enough to jump higher up in the league than us? So I think Brighton finished below us. I haven't really seen, have they actually done anything? I never really keep an eye on Brighton's transfer window, but I haven't seen anything major being done.
Brighton just go about their business, don't they? They bought in Regari. No, who did they bring in?
Don't know.
The centre half on a free. They brought in Max de Kuipers at left back. I don't think they've done major.
They haven't done anything massive, have they? They've done nothing massive. Bournemouth have been stripped out. Their backline is gone. I think Zabani is about to go, isn't he, to PSG? I've seen some reports on that. Anyway, as I go down the table, I look and I think you could argue Man U have strengthened their attack. Where they weren't scoring goals, they've brought in goals. Could you see them pushing up? I hope not. But objectively speaking, they could. Outside of that, I don't think Spurs have done enough, if I'm honest with you, mate. I think you push yourselves up. Obviously, I don't think you finish 17th. I think you push yourselves up towards the top 10. Somewhere around there. Depending, we're talking now, by the way. We're not talking the window's closed and, things will change with that. So I think Forest will end up in the top 10. I don't think you'll see Forest third for, 2/3 of the season like we did last year. But I think Forest have a better chance in Europe than in the league. So I think a top 10 finish towards the bottom end of the top 10 is where I see Forest. And I think Spurs will be in and around the same positions, with obviously Forest ahead. YouTube live chat.
Listen, I think you're going to have a more difficult year this year. At the moment, I'm worried. I'm worried. I really am. I'm worried that what looked like it was going to be a very promising set of signings at the moment isn't. And I'm worried that with Maddison out, Kulu out, obviously.
I thought you were saying you were worried for Forest, man. So why are you suddenly growing a conscience on Forest?
As much as I'd love you lot to go down just for you, just so I can see your face, you won't go down. I'm worried for us, mate. I said yesterday, I think we're an 8th, 9th, 10th place team at the moment. I think we are seriously lacking in firepower compared to obviously the big four, and then you've got Villa. Everyone's saying Villa haven't done a lot, but they haven't
lost anyone.
They haven't lost anyone as of yet, right? So Villa's squad is still there. Newcastle haven't lost anyone. right? If we're going to be honest, at the moment, they've not lost anyone. Obviously, if Isak goes, it changes. And then you've got Man United, who are the unknown. Let's be brutally honest. They're unknown at the moment. They've got one game a week. We don't know what they're going to do, but one game a week helps. Then you've got Brighton, teams like that, who they're always in and around that 9th, 10th.
And then they fade. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down throughout the season.
Yeah.
Brighton at one stage were 4th last year. They got to about 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, they just don't have the big guns because they sell. Like the teams with the big guns win things. Let's be brutally honest. The teams with the biggest players more often than not win everything. I'll tell you what. Listen, dude, you've been timed out because you asked the same question about 15 times in the chat, mate. I've seen your comment. You think I'm a hypocrite because I want Fofana, but I don't want Tell. The difference is my eyes have seen both play, and when I watch Fofana, I go, yes, get me that boy. When I watch Tell, I go, what does he do? It's not about their age on these two. It's about watching them going, what do they do? So if you clearly, unfortunately, I think what happens is someone like you has probably never watched Malik Fofana play a game.
That might actually be Levy though.
It could very well be Levy. You know, so at the end of the day, I've seen Fofana.
Wait, is he saying he thinks Tell's better than Fofana?
No, he's saying because I said I don't want more kids. My point was,
okay, would you take Yamal? But isn't he a kid? Like, the argument doesn't hold weight. There's certain kids that this is the thing, man. We live in the world of GA at the moment, and people are almost stopped watching football. That's the thing.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
I agree.
You can. So I have to do like at the moment, as you know, I run an under 14. Well, it's now under 15s team, and there's a lot of movement. Bloody. You think the transfer window in Premier League's crazy? You should see the transfer window at grassroots, right? So we've lost a few players, and I'm now having to scout players to replace them with. And I can tell you, Savva, within half an hour of a training session, I can. And the thing is, these kids still, some of them don't know what position they play in. Within half an hour, I can assess if they're good enough, if they're correctly positioned, and should we be signing them up or not. That it only takes half an hour, and that's your initial analysis. Obviously, then if you think they have something about them, you want to see them again in another training session, and you will develop your opinion on them. But within that first half hour, you can tell if a player is got it or not got it, or at the very least where that kid needs development. It's not too dissimilar to when you watch a footballer. Now, granted, some footballers can have a stinker. You could catch them on a wrong game. But in general, you don't need that much intel to be able to assess a player from the way he moves, from the way he controls the ball, from the way he passes, the fundamentals of a player. In my opinion, I don't know what you think, but you can make a very quick, at least summary account of a player within half an hour.
Listen, when scouts go and watch a footballer, they're automatically drawn to something the player does in the first instance.
Yes.
Right? Now, that doesn't mean they go, oh my God, I've seen him do a Cruyff turn, sign him 50 million, amazing. But you go, okay, there's ability. I've seen him do, there's something there. Maybe it's the way, depending on what position you're looking for. With a midfielder, it's how quick does he get the ball out his feet? What's his body shape like? How does he get the ball and give it and keep the ball moving? Right? The problem is, nowadays when people just go GA. Now, GA is important for some players, depending on their role in the team. So GA is very important for a player like Brendan Johnson because outside of that, he doesn't offer you anything. GA is very important when we're talking about people like Solanke because that's his bloody job, right? Solanke's job is to put the ball in the net. When I'm looking at a player like Jack Grealish is a very different type of footballer. He's not that flying winger who drives direct to goal. That's a guy who holds up the ball, brings others into play. Yeah, he links up. He wins free kicks, draws fouls. But fans too quickly are GA. And we've gone away from this just watching. So bringing it back, when I watch Tell, when I watch Fofana, I just look and go, yeah, look how talented he is. Look how talented that boy is. And by the way, Wolfie, I want a better winger than both of them at Tottenham. I want a better winger than both, but we're in a stage with 24 days of the window to go where we're left with Tell. And the problem is we've got fans that truly believe this boy is good enough. Those fans, what I say, Wolfie, if those fans clearly want Tell and think he's good enough, don't complain at the other signings the board make. If you're going to celebrate average signings, celebrate average signings.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it.
And the thing is, it's hard to explain because, like, I have to go and watch, like, other teams play when you're looking to nick their players, right? Sometimes you're not looking for anything in specific, and I think that actually helps. You're just watching the game, and within that game, a player will stand out. Once that player stands out, you start to look at what he does. And then it's like exactly what you said. How does he how's his first touch? How does he control the ball? What's his passing like? What's his movement like? And all of this. That's what, in a way, obviously on a more advanced level, actual Premier League scouts, when they go across to Brazil, they're watching these players. They're not making a decision to buy that player on the one game, but they are making a decision to potentially rewatch that player again, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, we've seen this talent here. He's ticked this box, this box, this box, like this, that, and the other. Let's see some more of him. They'll go watch another game. But that player has been identified from a crowd. And it's still done on the eye test. Once you've done the eye test, then look at their GA, is what I say. Once a player you feel has that thing that you are looking for, then go see, okay, let's historically see what his stats are like. Does he fit in? Does he provide this? Everyone bases things right now. I mean, Moneyball is such a great film. I think it's a great film to watch. Brilliant film. And because that played out how it did, people are like, are people actually thinking that's the way things should be done? So yeah.
Sorry, but Martin, would we? Why would we? What's Odegaard done for us to be going nuts over him? I've never watched Odegaard and gone, God, yes, he's okay. I'm not. Don't get me wrong, Wolfie. I'm not saying he's the worst winger I've ever seen, but what have? Do you know what? I don't think people like Martin have watched Malik Fofana play because Malik Fofana is superior to Wilson Odegaard. Watch them play.
Most people know players from YouTube compilations, if we're being honest, right? And like, for example, I play a lot of FIFA. Within FIFA, there's players that come up and then you want to go and watch them. Say, is this guy as good as he is in FIFA? And you watch a few games of them. The problem with the YouTube compilations is I've never seen someone create a YouTube compilation of why a player is shit. Do you know what I mean? It's always the highlight of the good things that player has done. If I did a highlights reel on you playing football, I think I could make you look like Messi. Because every now and again, it may take me a couple of years to put that compilation together on yourself, but within that, you would have a freak moment where you've done something good. Those compilations are always the players' good bits and not their norm. That's the thing with it, right? So I think people make judgments and people are too quick to call this guy a baller or this guy next level or a wonder kid. Everyone's or whatever. A baller. Yeah, because the compilations are always the good bits. I think there's a huge gap in the footballing YouTube market, by the way, for someone who could be asked to put the bad bits in a compilation together.
The bad bit compilation.
Yeah, but I think that would give you a better picture of the player.
Yeah, it's great. Luke, absolutely, my man. Spotlight on Spurs said, no, the videos are either unbelievable or they're shockers. They never provide balance. Look, I think that there's a place for videos like that. And it's great that you can go, oh, look how good he is. But the problem that you have is, in reality, a lot of these players have never actually done anything over a period of time. It's okay finding the 3 seconds in a game where someone did something brilliant.
Exactly.
It's okay doing that. But it's like when people go to me now, like with Brennan Johnson, go, oh, but look at his goals. Okay, cool. But if a game now, the average game, lasts 96 minutes now, 95 minutes? If you actually watched a game of football for 95, 96 minutes, if Brennan Johnson has not tapped a ball in, he's done nothing.
What's that? Can you bring Lee's comment up? Can you bring Lee's comment up?
Lee?
Yeah. Few back. Yeah. Compilation like something, they're not. They're not, because the 30 minutes gives you 30 minutes of in play. The bits where he's just moving around, the bits where he's doing nothing, the bits where he's doing good, the bits where he's going bad. The compilations are snapshots of the good parts. That's the difference there, Lee. But yeah, just on Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson will never shine in a Spurs styles team, in my opinion. And I think I said this to you when you signed him and you asked me what I thought of him.
You did.
He needs grass to run into. I know you say that, I've heard you say this before, he's the slowest, quickest player you've seen. He is quick. He doesn't look quick in a Spurs team because he doesn't get to utilize his pace. He needs to be playing in a team that is a counter-attacking team. He cannot, and I've definitely said this to you, he cannot cross a ball, he cannot header a ball, he cannot outskill a player.
Yeah.
He needs the ball played into space behind where he can run in. Then he can either cut inside. I've always, with Brennan Johnson, I've always wondered what he would be like on the left-hand side. Forrest played him there a couple of times and he wasn't good. I thought if he inverts
he
in,
played
he
him there
up.
2 or 3 times in pre-season, and he does absolutely
every time he
nothing.
played on the left for Forest, it never worked.
Yeah, he does
which
nothing.
has surprised me because he's better at scoring goals than he is at providing goals. And I think it would have been easier for him to invert in to open up his right foot. Brennan Johnson will not work at Spurs while you're playing a more advanced line. It's just not the right fit. This doesn't make him a bad player. It just makes him the wrong player in the wrong system in the wrong team.
No, agreed. By the way, I think the point that people need to understand, right, in the chat, is I'm not saying Malik Fofana, by the way, is my first choice. I never said that. Wolfie brought him up and I said, yeah, I'd take him. He's better than what we've got. Isn't it funny how when you say you take a player, people automatically assume he's the only player you want. My point is this. If Spurs were going to go and buy a young winger, don't make it Tell. Make it Malik Fofana, who's got way more ability. All these people now talking about Odegaard, yeah? All these people, Wolfie, cool. All these people talking about Odegaard, ability, let them breathe. But why have Spurs have already got loads of young players? Why did we need to go and buy more? Why don't we demand better? Why don't we demand that we stop buying the Odegaards and the Tells and that we actually go and buy some wingers for now? You got Mikey Moore as a kid. Yang's there. Bought Yang as well. Anyway, Alex. Let's hear it then. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
What was I a hypocrite about that you decided to shout at me in the chat?
I didn't shout at you. I was getting
Yes,
your
you did.
attention. I was giving you
Capture.
attention. No,
Sure.
yeah. But to get your attention, it's like about 800 people in the chat. How am I going to get my attention? But the point is, anyway, I've only got a few minutes anyway. Because the main event does its own show. The main event does his own show. You know what I mean? But the point is, though, yeah, like for me, right, us saying give him time, right, isn't the right thing to say right now when we didn't really give the last manager time. You know what I mean? And again,
he had 2 years.
Well, yeah, no. But the point I'm making is that when we didn't really give him time last time, right? And again, like, listen, I was on the side of I couldn't stand him. You know what I mean? The last manager, but I just feel that us saying to people that don't rate Frank. Let's just be honest here. Just do not rate Frank. I've got to be honest, right? Because there's a reason why they keep on overreacting every single defeat that we are having in pre-season.
You mean
it's
one?
Because, yeah, well, it's true, but
every single defeat, we've lost one game.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Savva. Yeah, there was people that had opposition against Frank in the first place, right?
Right.
It's just I think it was suppressed. It was just suppressed.
Right.
And I think at the moment you're seeing the results of people just didn't rate Frank in the first place, and I think they need convincing still. I think Frank just needs to prove himself still.
Alex, that's not what I asked you. You came into the screen. You did what you usually do. You put your big boy pants on in the comment section, right? So I've asked you to your face, what am I a hypocrite about?
Because you like Ange, didn't you, at the beginning, didn't you? Well, you were all right with Frank at the beginning, weren't you?
Yeah.
Were you? You were. and then
So,
it
yeah.
taken you only till November when you saw
No.
what against Chelsea.
So I just showed you all the videos that even in January and in the February where I said, give him time. He needs to be backed. Let's see if he can adapt. I just brought up all the videos and showed you. So how's that a hypocrite? You do realize, Alex, the season has not started.
Yeah, I know.
But do you and fans like the other people, do you realize that when you're saying I'm being a hypocrite, show me in pre-season under Ange where I turned around and said, get him out.
Oh, no, I didn't. You didn't say giving out. No, you were. I was there with you. You were pretty positive about him because you didn't.
So
You
where
did.
have I been a hypocrite?
Well, no, but I'm just saying at the moment that I was saying that you didn't give Ange time, didn't you? Really, let's be honest here. From that time, and again, it's nothing against you, but it's like you said that you could have adapted, but towards the end you weren't there, weren't you? But you were there.
Right, okay. So again, Alex. So I'm going to ask the question. See, this is what I said. I knew you'd do this. I know you so well. I knew that you'd make the big old bold statement in caps locks in the show. But when I ask you, you can't actually give me an answer.
No, you did. But you did say, God,
Alex,
yeah. But let me explain then. Let me explain.
Hang on. It is the 8th of August. Tottenham have not kicked a ball in a competitive match under the new manager, right? And you're calling me a hypocrite for what?
Because you're asking people to give him time, and like I said,
Didn't I ask people to give Ange time?
Yeah, but how long did that take?
No,
Alex,
sorry, go on, Wolfie. Go on. This is mental.
Did you get? I have no skin in this game, right? Did you give Ange time?
No, because I didn't like him from the first place. So that's why I can't have a go.
Were you Ange out off the bat?
Well, I wasn't for him in the first place. So that's why.
So after the first 10 games where you were top of the league, whenever it was,
I wasn't there, and I wasn't there. I didn't like. I wasn't there with him quite from the.
Okay, but
wait, what do you mean?
Wolfie, the bit I can't understand is he still can't explain how I've been a hypocrite. I just showed you all the videos for the first 6 months where I'm saying, give this guy time, back him. He's a breath of fresh air, superb. And I'm trying to work out how I'm a hypocrite.
Because for me, right, if you're going to give him time, you give him the season. You didn't give him the season, didn't you? Really? Let's be honest here.
Why'd you have to give him the season?
Why does he have to have a whole season?
Because I feel, that's really giving someone time, isn't it? Really? Let's be honest here.
Wait, are you advocating for giving time or not? I'm confused.
Well, at the moment, listen. Okay, let me just explain. Right, I feel I've got nothing wrong with Thomas Frank, right? But he needs to prove himself, right? So for me,
hang on, no. See, we've got to stop doing this. We've got to stop again. Swanix, don't lie or go. I didn't say after 8 competitive games that I was Ange out. I literally just showed you videos all the way into February and March saying he needs time, he needs to adapt. I said to you at the end of the first season, I said Ange out. At the end of that first season, I'd seen enough. He hadn't adapted. He hadn't changed.
I don't think he's having a go at you though. Swanix is a good guy.
He
doesn't even agree with me. No, yeah, but Savva, let's be honest here, because he actually likes you. He likes you a lot.
Alex, I don't care. Read what he said, Alex. I can read.
I hear you, but I think sometimes you when you read it, it sounds worse than what he's saying.
Here we go. See again. Savva was Ange out after the Chelsea game.
Yeah, but again, that's just a comment.
After the Chelsea game, I was extremely concerned, Swanix. After the Chelsea game, I was extremely concerned.
Which is what, listen, again, Savva, I'm not, listen, again, this is not having a go at you, right? Again, it's just like, I'm just saying, right? You're going to have to bear with it and see whether Frank can handle the pressure.
No. Alex, you don't have to tell me that.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what.
Alex, you came into my chat doing what you always.
I think you're focused too much on that.
Let me finish a sentence.
Okay, go on then.
You came into my chat and you called me a hypocrite. I've invited you on. You can't seem to tell me why. You do this all the time.
Yeah. I think you're focused too much on the hypocrite.
Comment. Because that was the. I think
you're too focused. I think you're too focused on the hypocrite comment, Savva. I'm not saying. I said to you, you're being hypocritical on telling people to give it time when when you couldn't give Ange time. That's why I said what I
Yeah,
said.
but define time.
But I
Define
did
time.
give him time,
the
Alex.
season. Time is the season. 6 months. That's what I mean by
But
that.
Alex, we haven't even kicked off the season. The
Yeah,
season's
but regardless
the
whether he's
se-
kicked off regardless if he's kicked off the season or not, people are still going to still need to be proven wrong on Thomas Frank though, because
but
I
that's
still think they've got an issue with the fan base.
Alex,
I
can
don't
can
get the argument. I'm not
can I-
gonna lie. I love it when Savva gets roasted, but I'm struggling to follow this
Wolfie,
one, mate.
I'm struggling with him. The problem with Alex is Alex does this thing. So when he says, I think you're concentrating too much on the word hypocrite. Well, yeah, that was the accusatory word that was the derogatory word, right? And the accusatory word in his statement. Savva, you're a hypocrite. Cool. Tell me why. No. What you got to understand is fans. No, when Ange first came in, I was saying things. Breath of fresh air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great to see a positive forward thinking manager. After the Chelsea game, very, very worried.
Yeah.
Very, very, very worried.
Very worried.
Right?
Very worried. Yeah. So your support was shaken,
Alex,
wasn't it?
hang on. After the Chelsea game, very worried. Yeah. Then seeing for the next couple of months, I was like, hang on, is this manager going to adapt? Is he going to change anything, or is he just going to sit and watch us get beaten? Then towards the end of that season, I was like, this manager's not changing a thing, is he? Then last summer, turned around and said, I don't want him here. But everyone assured me, don't worry, right? Don't worry, he changes things in year 2. So we start the season wide open again. He's not changed anything at the back, inverted fullbacks. And then I was like, nah, this guy, I'm done. But you've called me a hypocrite, which would suggest that I was Ange out, or saying in the summer before the season started that I was Ange out.
No, you weren't. You weren't Ange. You weren't Ange
so how
out
am I a
before.
hypocrite?
No, I wasn't talking about that. So I wasn't talking about at the
Then
beginning.
I don't understand.
What are you talking about?
I wasn't talking about that summer. I was talking about, right? You were fourth Ange at the beginning, right? Your support was shaken towards the early part after the Chelsea game, right? And then towards the end of the season, right, you were saying, "No, I've had enough." You weren't there.
Because I had a sample size to look from.
Exactly. So what I'm saying. So
I don't get this argument.
I don't get it either.
No,
I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Give me your premise 1, premise 2, conclusion. Let's do it like that. Let's make it a logical argument. So premise
what
1.
are you saying, Alex? Alex? Let's break this down nice and simply.
Yeah.
Savva's a hypocrite. Fine. Exclamation mark. What is the exact thing I've been hypocritical about?
You didn't back Ange after a year, didn't you? After a season, you didn't.
So for that premise to work,
you didn't give.
Would you not have to
Ange
give Thomas Frank more time for that to be hypocritical?
Exactly. So if we were having this, if this was 2026,
I wasn't talking about now. No, that's what I think.
No. Your argument would work if Savva tomorrow says he's Ange out.
No,
then you could say,
I never meant. Yeah, but
then you could say, Savva, you're a hypocrite because you gave Ange nearly a year.
Wolfie, I wasn't talking like that. That wasn't my point. That was
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's how your premise would work. Is if that was the scenario.
I don't agree with that. I think.
Okay,
why don't you agree with that?
Let me give you a scenario. If I hired Wolfie and you to do a job, you both work for me, right? You both have the same results after a month, but I only sack one of you. I'm a hypocrite, right? Because I've sacked Wolfie, I've not sacked you, but you've both been as shit as each other, right?
So that's what Forest,
right? But what you're doing is you're calling me a hypocrite when we're not at the time frame, at the same timestamp with Frank as we are with Ange. Those fans who are Frank out before we've even played a competitive football match under this manager, you don't think that's ridiculous, Alex? Because that's what you've called me a hypocrite for.
Yeah, but I don't think you're understanding why I think they are feeling the way they're feeling.
I don't care about that, Alex. You called me a hypocrite.
Yeah, that's because I said that because after a year you were Ange out, and you were saying to me,
Frank been here a year.
Which is fine.
Frank been here a year.
No, it hasn't been a year. No, but the point I'm making is though, right, is that if we're gonna say people are hypocrites after just a few weeks or so, right, Okay, you've got to look at yourself when you're going after. It doesn't matter whether
Alex,
time
if
frame
you
or not.
had
Time frame
anything,
or
I
not.
would back you right now so we could like squeeze Savva. But bro, this is worse than the way Cal defends us.
Oh, yeah, well,
No, this is cringy, man.
No, it's not cringy. It's not cringy. It's opinion.
It is.
It's opinion.
It
It's
is
opinion.
very
Well, no, it's
cringy,
not.
bro.
It's not cringy. It's not cringy at all. It's not cringy at all.
I got no skin in this game. In
Yeah,
fact, I
but
would
it's
be on your side. I
cringy
would
at
be
all.
on your
I'm
side.
sorry,
you had
yeah,
something
but
to
it's
say,
not
Alex,
cringy at all.
Wolfie would gang up on me for sure.
Yeah, I
100%.
know, but I've
Bro,
got to be honest. It's not.
I'm
For
thinking,
me,
why am I
it's
wasting my
not
time?
cringy at all. I think it's down to opinion. You can't tell me my opinion's wrong.
No,
just
I
because he
can
hasn't
tell
been
you
there
your
yet.
opinion is wrong
I'm
because
saying
you're basing your opinion on a premise that doesn't hold up.
Alex, no.
Well, how's it opinion? Has it not held up?
Alex,
Because the thing is, though,
that's not an opinion.
No, it's
You
opinion.
calling me a hypocrite isn't an opinion.
Yeah,
it's an accusation.
Yeah,
right?
but it's opinion because you're saying to me, because you're saying
It's
to
an
me,
accusation.
No, it's not an accusation. I think we're going over the top here. The
No.
point, no, you're going over
Alex,
the top here.
Alex, I'm not offended by it.
Yeah,
I'm asking you. I've asked you about 15 times.
I've just told you though.
No,
told you.
Alex, not one person watching me or Wolfie understand what you're talking about. Alex,
I've just said to you.
For me to be a hypocrite, I would have had to have been Ange out at this time last year, this time in his first summer. For me to be a hypocrite, I would have had to have been Ange out before the Brentford game, which was his first proper game in the Premier League in charge of Spurs.
Yeah, but you never would have been. You never would have been like that. You never were though. That's not.
So he's not a hypocrite,
So
then,
hence
bro.
why I'm not a hypocrite.
Okay, fair enough then. Right, fair
But
enough. Fair
Alex,
enough then.
no-
Fair
no
enough.
one
Let me make it simple.
Fair
Right.
enough then. I was wrong to call you a hypocrite. Fair enough then. Let's leave it at that. Fair enough.
Okay, but ignoring the
so again,
hypocrite
you come
bit,
into
the
my
other
comment
bit's still
section.
wrong.
Fair enough. I was wrong to call you a hypocrite.
You've ranted in my comment section as always.
Fair enough. I've just admitted I was wrong. I was feeling I was wrong.
Alex,
I was
but
wrong.
every time you're not on a panel, I see you in the chat, and the first thing you do, rather than messaging the person you know, you do it to Sean, you do it to me. You go, nah, this person's a hypocrite. Whenever anyone asks you on, you go, yeah, I haven't got anything. Like, surely you must get bored of not having a point.
No. That's not right. That's not right at all.
Very
I had a point. No, that's not right at all. Don't try and do that to me now. Right? I admit I was wrong there. In terms of the time frame, I was right.
All right, let me ask you this, Alex. Are you Frank out?
No, I'm not Frank out. No,
you're not.
But you don't
rate.
But
you Ange out? You said you were Ange out off the bat.
Yeah. Well, I didn't rate him. No.
Okay. Is that not hypocrisy?
I've got nothing against. No, because okay, Wolfie, you obviously haven't watched my channel. I've done a video on it right now. I did a video on it a couple of days ago, right, saying proof that I said I've got nothing wrong with Thomas Frank whatsoever. It's no issue.
I've not heard you say one thing.
No,
about
that's not
him
true. Okay, Savva, we obviously haven't watched my channel. Then go and watch my channel.
Well, okay, Alex,
my last video.
Alex, we can promote your channel in a while. Stop worrying about that.
Well, no, because the thing is, you've said this a couple of times.
Let me finish a sentence, Alex.
I've got a jump voice.
Okay, thanks, Wolfie.
Big up.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Alex, you can't just tell me to watch your channel. I speak to you directly, one-on-one on my show.
Yeah, but
right, and I've never heard you from moment one. Right, you were having a go about Frank because Spurs' inability to sell footballers. It was like Frank's not ruthless enough. You're like, he's not the one that sells players. Yeah, but like, I don't. That is exactly what you said. We all saw it.
But Savva, that's not true again. You're lying again. You don't like people lying about you, but
that's exactly what you said. We all saw it.
Alex. But no, I didn't. I said that. Yeah, but it's lie that I haven't said anything good about Thomas Frank, because I have said.
What have you said that's good about him?
I've said he's a good coach and he's got good potential. I've said that, and I've said some of the stuff that he said in his press conferences look very good, logical as well. But he still needs to prove himself. That's all I'm saying at the moment.
No one said he doesn't. Every manager needs to prove himself.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know where you're saying that I haven't been nice about him. I've said got no problem with Frank. He actually does not annoy me like the last manager did. So it's not that I've got anything against Thomas Frank, but the thing is, though, there are still things for Thomas Frank to prove. He hasn't played 2 games a week. at Bromby, right, he completely failed in Europe. So I mean, that's a fact. But we don't want to go on about that, don't we? You know what I mean? Because that's not going to fit the narrative.
Do you
know
know
what I mean?
when he was at Bromby?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many years ago was the guy at Bromby?
I know, but
is that really what we're doing here?
Yeah, but then, Savva, yeah, there was issues with the whole thing with Pochettino at the start as well. You know what I mean? Because I didn't believe in Pochettino. Like I said, I'm repeating myself again for your viewers, okay? But in the end, he proved himself, right? And then he became a very lovable manager that people absolutely love. You know what I mean? So again, Thomas Frank, unfortunately, is coming to the cauldron of Tottenham Hotspur. And he's going to have to prove himself because at the end of the day, he only managed Brentford. And yes, he gets his credit for doing what he did at Brentford.
Who said he doesn't have to? Any manager has to prove himself. But Alex, you didn't throw any support behind the last manager when we signed him. You haven't thrown any support behind this manager when we signed him.
That's not true. That's not true,
mate. It is.
No, it's not. That's a lie again, Savva. You don't like people lying about you, but you lie
Alex,
about
it's
me.
not a lie.
No,
we
it's
all
not a
hear
lie.
what you say.
No, that's a lie
Yes.
again because you obviously haven't watched my channel again, and I'm sorry.
I don't need to.
Yeah,
Alex,
okay. If you don't need to, don't lie. Don't lie then.
Alex,
Don't lie then. No, because
Alex, do you know what
you're lying.
Can I tell you the problem that you suffer with?
But Savva, no, Savva, listen, no, because that's not fair. That's not fair at all.
I haven't said anything yet. You're not letting me actually say
because you're not letting me, because when you're saying stuff that are not true, I'm going to rebuttal it. When I say clearly on my channel, when I'm on my own,
oh my good God,
on
Alex,
my own.
Stop saying I said it on my channel. We are talking. Alex, let me talk or I'll mute you. Let me talk. You have not let me get a sentence out. Alex, you come onto these shows and you just want to try. I'll banter you. You don't land a point, right? When you say things, we all hear it, right? We all hear it. And what you do is you then come on to the next show and go, I didn't say that. You did. You do say these things, Alex. Now, when you say, oh, on my show, I do it on my show, I'm talking about the conversations we're having here. I'm not going to watch every other YouTuber's shows, right? I'm talking about.
But you're saying to me that I wasn't saying anything good about Frank. When I'm with a panel show, when people twist my words, which I have said certain things, I've said I didn't, and I've said it quite clearly to you, Savva. How many times I have got not a problem with Thomas Frank.
That's not what I didn't say. You didn't say you've not got a problem with him.
Exactly. How is that not positive then? How is that not positive then?
Alex, I don't have a problem with many things. Doesn't mean I'm positive about them.
So what do you want me to do? Kiss his backside?
I mean, Alex, you're not 12. Like, that's just
really
ridiculous.
The way you're saying it, it's like, you're not being saying anything nice about.
What are you excited about with Thomas Frank as manager?
I said he's a coach. He sounds like a good coach, but again, I need to see it at Tottenham.
Can I tell you? Can I say what you've just done? Do you know what? You are the typical. You lay them up, I'll knock them out of the park. I can catch you in a pretzel every 5 seconds, mate. Notice what I just asked for a positive. Your positive ended with a negative, right? Your positive span into, I think he's a good coach, but that's the thing. No one, Alex, you did this with Ange, right? Surely we have to give some of these guys a chance. Yeah, I didn't want Ange after I'd given him months and months and months and went, nah, this is rubbish. But at the beginning, it's bringing up Bromby. Do you know how long it's been since he managed Bromby?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Do you know how long it was?
You can tell me, but it was a long time ago.
He's not managed Bromby for nearly a decade. Right?
Yeah, point. But it's still
so
there.
I'm not sure what has Bromby got to do with anything. Right? Thomas, by the way, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, right? Have they both won European trophies or both big managers? Right? What did they do in Europe for Tottenham?
Nothing, no.
Right. So what we're doing right now is we're finding a stick to beat any manager with.
That's not true at all. Again,
of course it is.
No, it's not true at all. Again, this is where we got the agenda here. It's when,
There's no agenda.
no, yes, there is an agenda here
there's
because
not.
I'll explain why. I'll explain
Go
why.
on.
Okay.
Explain why there isn't an agenda.
Why there's agenda here is that when there are opposition for Thomas Frank to get his hurdles that he needs to prove over those, then people say you're being negative. You're not giving Frank a chance. Why can you just watch it and just see what happens? It's like, well, no, I'm just saying, okay, Frank, you've come to Tottenham. You look very good. I think it's good potential, right? But we need to see how you do at Tottenham. Now, that's all I'm saying at the moment.
No one's
I'm
doubting
not
that.
saying I'm not saying that I like. And the thing is, though, I need to correct you again. I've been positive about Frank. Just because I say
I
but,
don't think
no,
we're going
just
to have to
because I say
disagree.
but, no, because I've got to correct
I don't
you.
think I've ever seen you
No,
positive.
no. Well, you have seen me. Just saw me
You
now.
say we need to see. That's fine.
No, because because you've interpreted. No, this is now opinion now, right? And you're wrong. You're absolutely
I haven't
wrong.
heard you say a single
No,
positive
that's
about
wrong.
him.
That's wrong because that's your
Well, I
opinion.
haven't.
Well, that's wrong. That's
Say
wrong.
something positive
That's
about
wrong.
him.
Well, I've just told you. He's
What-
a good coach. He's a good coach.
You ended that with he's a good coach, but
Yeah, because he needs to see. We need to see how it works. Yes,
every manager we need to see how he works, Alex.
exactly. So until I see it,
Who did you
right?
want in?
To
You
be
wanted
honest,
Glasner.
to be honest with you, Savva, I'm unsure about any manager right now with Tottenham at the moment.
So basically, what we're at the Alex, no one's doubting that a manager's got to prove himself. No one said that they don't.
Because at the moment,
But
I've got no idea what Tottenham are like at the moment, to be honest with you.
Of course, and many of us don't because we need to buy footballers, right? But
Exactly.
the problem we have, Alex, is, as I said, you've come into my chat. It's like you want a row for the sake of having a row when
No,
you
I
don't.
don't want to have a row.
Hang on, let me finish. When you don't really actually have a point that you're making.
No, I did make a point. I did make a point, but
I think you quite clearly
no,
because
I
you
did
told
have
us
a
you
point.
were wrong. You
No,
didn't have a
I
point.
was wrong about the time frame, but the only reason why I said the time frame because you said it was about the time frame. That was the only reason why I was wrong, right? But the only thing is though, like you don't give managers time in terms of a year. You gave Angela a year, right?
Right.
Okay. Now Frank has only just started, so yeah, you've got a point there. That was it. That was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a case of and that it wasn't a case of having a go at you because Frank.
But you do acknowledge that you do that, right? So what you've done is you've seen I'm live, you've seen I've said a sentence, and you've thrown out there this kind of make-believe world of this make-believe world of hypocrite, but without actually putting the ducks in a row first to see if I am a hypocrite or not.
Like I said, I've you're not going to don't get used to it. I've held my hands up. I was wrong.
It's not about getting used to it, Alex.
I held my hands up. I was wrong about
Alex,
the time
as I said,
frame.
I don't need to get used to it because any football debate you want to have, I'll put you in a pretzel, right?
No,
Any football debate you want to have.
You won't put me a pretzel anyway.
Name a subject, mate. I don't think there's anything you'd be able to put me in a pretzel about because I'll back your points with salient ones. Like you listen, Alex, all I've said is this, right? I don't think Thomas Frank's the greatest manager in the world. I don't think he's the greatest coach in the world, but I think he's a good coach that needs time. Now, if Spurs get to the end of this year and we're not seeing things improve, the back four still looks awful, right? Let's say the back four looks awful. The results are terrible. I'm going to start asking questions the way I did of Angepostecoglou, the way I did of Mourinho, the way I did of Conte. Everyone seems to think that because I like this manager, that I'm just going to back him to the hill. No, I will see how he gets on. But right now, everyone's getting on his back and he's not actually done. He's not done anything wrong.
But Savva, by your logic though, would you give if even if things were going wrong, if it's a coach, right? Like a Pochettino, for instance, and a Glasner, right? Because Glasner, what if he has what Glasner did last season, having a bad first 10 games or so?
Sure, I'm not. But listen, but again, I'm not expecting a lot from the first 10 games. This is what I don't think people understand, Alex. This guy is coming in to coach a squad that has not been coached for 2 years and that finished 17th. What people are now doing is they're going, oh, but I thought he was a coach. These people, I can tell, have never been around football clubs in their lives, have never been around coaching, have never done coaching badges, have never played the game, because you don't go from 17th and not coached to top 4 and coached in a transfer window. That takes time. Pochettino took time to implement and to embed and implement his system at both Tottenham and Chelsea. And what you saw was gradual progression. Wasn't like that. It was gradual, right? That's what I expect from Thomas Frank. I think it's going to be a slow start. I think there's going to be some really difficult moments at Tottenham in the first half of this season. But what you would expect is the longer he has them, right? The longer he has them, you'll start to see his coaching methodologies being implemented and the players taking it on board.
But do you accept them through the bad times? You're going to see a lot of people saying Frank out because of things. This is what I'm saying,
because
and that's why I'm saying the hypocrite comment. That was another reason why I said the hypocrite comment again. I'm not, I'm saying that there are going to be people going to have the opposition against that sort of thing because they've got that thing about it.
But that doesn't make me a hypocrite. So you still use the wrong word, right?
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. My
point is this. My point is this, right? Is you get managers who come in and immediately, like, look at Ange. Ange immediately for 10 games, everything was great. But there were certain people that sat back and said, this isn't sustainable what he's doing. And it wasn't. It fell apart like that, right? I'm not lying, am I? 10 games and then Spurs fell off a cliff.
Well, you know I agree with you. I agree with you, Savva.
But the difference is there are coaches, like if you look at Pep Guardiola, right? If you look at Pochettino, these guys are coaches. So when they go into a club, the impact isn't, right? The impact is slowly but surely better. Look at, even with the top players he had, look how over time, Barcelona got better and better and better. Look, when he came to Man City, first year was a little bit rough, right? First year was a little bit rough. After that, they got better and better and better and better, right? Pochettino, to a lesser degree, at both Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea, his first 3-4 months at both clubs wasn't good.
No, I know that.
Right?
It
wasn't good. And then after that, you started to go at both clubs. The problem is, Ange was going like that the other way.
But this is why I explained. This is why I explained that I didn't like Pochettino at first, but he convinced me. That's what I'm saying. So I think that's where you're not understanding me. I explain it with what has happened with previous managers before that are popular, like Martin Jol and Pochettino. I didn't like Pochettino at the beginning because I didn't rate him. But then he convinced me because you saw the upgrade of what you saw.
But surely you can see that before they start. You would. This is the thing again with Poch. Everyone, when Poch joined, everyone who read up about Poch, it would say this is what he does. This is how he coaches. This is how long it takes. The problem is football fans want everything like that. This is the problem, Alex. Our fan base. Look how certain portion of our fan base have reacted off the back of losing a friendly to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Look, I'll call it. Look how dumb some of these people are. I'll call it as it is. Look how dumb some of these people are. Oh, you said Frank would sort us out.
But again, Savva, you know the fan base, don't you?
That's not my Alex. Listen to me without interrupting me. That's not my point.
Okay.
My point is this, Alex. If anybody takes a little backward step as an adult and says, right, what needs to happen at Spurs right now? 3 or 4 things need to happen at Spurs. And any grown-up with half a brain can see this. What do Spurs need? Well, we need a coach. We need a coach that can take these players and implement some tactics. That we don't lose 26 games in a year. That we're not wide open at the back, right? That we don't lose games because we're just so easy to break through. 2, we need some better players, right? We need some better players. We all know that. 3, we need some feel-good factor. We need that when the manager is talking in press conferences, that we don't all feel embarrassed because he just says really ridiculous things and doesn't have a go at his own fan base. And 4, more than anyone, we need someone that can bring the fans together, right? Now, this man might, if everyone allows him to. He might not, but he might if everyone allows him to. The problem is, we're so divided because so many people cannot get over that a manager's gone. Managers leave, but we support Tottenham Hotspur. Alex, I like Frank, right? If Frank is sacked in 3 months and we bring another manager, Frank's gone. I will move on to the next manager. We've got a fan base that can't. We've got a fan base that can't get over that a manager has left. Not all the fan base, by the way. I'm talking about sections of the fan base. Right? You've got to change the culture. Right? You've got to change the coaching. You've got to change the approach to the club. And everyone seems to think that Thomas Frank was going to do this in 4 weeks. This is madness. This is madness on so many levels. And the first thing we've seen, the first game we've lost, and all the morons come out. Hold that one. Hold what? Spurs lose a game. Oh, big wow.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Because but when you say that though, Savva, that's what's going to happen because the culture of the fan base is what the culture is at the moment because it's a result of how it's been the last how many years, hasn't it? You know what I mean? And the stability of the club. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I think you have to go through really low times. And I think you've got to go through really low times with this manager, or whether it's going to be with this manager or somebody else, I don't know at the moment. Because I don't think it's just about the manager. I think it is about the director of football as well. I think you have to go through very low times to actually see the fruits of something that really works. You see what I'm saying? I think that's what's happening at the moment. I think we're seeing an undertone of people that are not for Frank. Right, and again, I don't agree with this comment at all. So Thomas Frank ain't. Yeah, fair enough. He's not a miracle worker, but unfortunately, he's going into a pressure cooker where he's going to have to understand that he's going to have to handle the pressure, and we have to see how if he can handle it the whole season.
That doesn't make that comment wrong. He's not a miracle worker.
No, he's not a miracle worker. He's not a miracle worker. No.
Yeah, but Alex, the problem is, look at half the fan base. They think he's a miracle worker. Do you know? What I love about this club, right, is the fans that were happy to lose week in, week out under Ange and give him an excuse every week. Those fans won't give Thomas Frank even 3 to 6 months to get his style implemented. Like, we are literally losing our minds over a pre-season friendly to one of the best teams in the world. Like, where's the common sense? Where has that gone?
I don't think it helps when the fan base are giving excuses to people like Alderbear and Matty's Tell. You know what I mean? Because like I've heard a lot of people.
Sure, but they're individual players, Alex. I'm talking about this manager, right? If I'd said, look at the 11 yesterday to people, no one in their right mind should have been looking at that and going, yeah, we'll beat Bayern Munich. No one should be looking at that and going, yeah, Bayern Munich are gonna, I don't think Bayern Munich are gonna beat us. Look at the front four they played. Look at the front six. Goretzka, Kimmich, right? Diaz, Kane, Elise, Coman. Look at these players. This is the dream for Tottenham to be anywhere near that, right? But we lose a game to them in their own stadium, by the way, after flying here, there, everywhere over the last 10 days, right? And everyone straight away, Thomas Frank, you said this. Like, in no other walk of life can you get away with this? In a real business, no one talks like this. In a proper business where people go to work every day, no one talks like this after a setback. But our fans have become so over-emotional over managers and over players. He's gone. Ange's gone. These people have to move on. At the moment, they're acting like they're not Spurs fans. They're acting like they are Angepostecoglou fans. I get it. Whoever wanted him, cool. I've got no problem with those people. But he's gone. He's gone, Alex. Those people should be now going, right, I've had enough. Look at this show today. Look at this show today. How many people are coming and go, hold that? Or what happened to your boy Frank? Sorry, did anyone think we weren't going to lose games of football as a football club this season?
Well, at least you get loads of viewers, Savva.
Well, it's not through the lack of hard work, right?
So, you know what I mean? It's like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm just mind blown by how childish we've become. I'm mind blown by it, Alex. I'm mind blown that, yes, I knew for that couple of weeks after Ange went, you'd have a lot of people going, gutted. Oh, you got what you wanted. I'm gutted. He's gone. We've since gone and brought in a new manager, right? Who needs to change everything. It didn't happen overnight at most clubs. It's not going to happen overnight at Tottenham. Now, if he messes up and we get relegated, I'll be the first one there going, well, that was terrible, a terrible appointment. But can we not have some level of common sense? I'm seeing YouTubers making videos laughing at Thomas Frank. Laughing at Thomas Frank.
But I think that's the way it's going to be, Savva. I think that's the thing. I'm on the notion. Listen again. Again, I'm going to make it absolutely clear to you, Savva. I've got no problem with Thomas Frank. He looks like a coach. He looks like he's well organised, and he looks a very thoughtful guy, especially with this Justin Copcarain as well as assistant manager. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I still don't know what he's about still. I've got to be honest because of what we've seen. But again, it's pre-season. I've not really switched on and switched off a little bit as well, right? So again, I have to see how the season goes.
No, I hear you. And I agree with you, by the way. Just because I like him, Alex, doesn't mean I think that the whole season's going to be plain sailing. And the thing is, what you get a lot of people who will look at my opinion of Ange, but won't actually listen to what I've said about Frank. I've always said, if you bring in a coach, let him coach. Give him time. But coaching isn't 4 weeks on the training pitch and we go, we're sorted. Right? So for all these people yesterday that were going, our defence, these people have never, ever stepped foot, have they, on a football pitch themselves. They've never coached. They've never watched documentaries about coaching and about, because they turn around and think that Thomas Frank can solve all our problems overnight. It's honestly, I just think it would be lovely for a few people to get behind this guy and say, do you know what, Levy, give this guy what he needs and let's let Frank work.
I do agree with the squad. Like I said, I agree with you because the thing is, I've never rated certain players, and I've been arguing with people about certain players like Alderweireld and Tom Matistel and Richarlison and Bentancur, and all these other players, and Romero. You know what I mean? Like, saying that, we've got a good squad. We need to keep those players happy and stuff.
Well,
when I say, well, I'm not being funny, I think there are better players out there that can challenge them. I have people making fun of Newcastle, and I'm not being funny. Newcastle, at least they're trying to find players that are going to make their squad challenge their squad at the moment. You know what I mean? Look at that players that are going to challenge. And I'm not being funny. I'm not shooting for the star for certain players they're going for. Delap, he ain't.
Mate, I agree with you. I agree with you, but I just think, isn't it worrying as a society, let alone football fans, that one defeat, the manager's first defeat, and everybody's lost their bloody minds. Listen. Hang on. Let's see what Romano's just tweeted. I need to do some super chats. And then I'm just going to read some super chats and end the show, to be honest. And what's Romano said? So Al Nazar have opened talks with Kingsley Coman from Bayern. Well, he scored that great goal last night. I can't see anything that Romano said that relates to us. Sorry, Mark, hang on, who said? Sorry, Coleman who? Coleman as in Seamus. Anyway, guys, let me do. I'm just going to do super chats now. Alex, up to you if you want to stay for them or if you want to jump off. I know you've got to go at some point, but it's up to you.
I'll stay.
Cool. Right. Okay. Big up for the super chats. Big up to George, who said, morning, everyone. We need more signings like Kudus. Yeah, we do. We need men. We need some powerful men like Kudus. We need some top players. Big up to you, George. Really appreciate that. Emma Morton, as always, in here. Thank you very much, Emma, from up there in Teesside. Thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate you. Casino Nick, thank you very much, Nick. Said greetings from Thailand. Was in Hong Kong and had a great time. I am under no illusion the manager has been starved of the tools he needs. Levy, bang on. Of course, he needs better tools. But people are, yeah, it is what it is. Big up to you, Casino Nick. Thank you very much. Aris, thank you very much. Said Ange left Frank a mess. At least Frank set up a structure. Listen, it's going to take time. As I've said, it's going to take time. By the way, they're showing that Evan Gassand of last year in League played 33 games, got 21 goal contributions. Aston Villa have signed him. How are they signing players like that and we're not? Big up to you, Aris. I agree with you. He's going to set up a structure. Give him time. It's all going to be fine. Can't judge off games like PSG and Bayern Munich. Big up to you, my man. Ryan Tristane said Frank in, giving him the whole season before I judge. Ryan, listen, people are allowed to start having their doubts, right? But at least wait till halfway through the season. Do you know what I mean? Surely we can't be talking about it now. But big up to you, Ryan. Atavatron Wembley said what we are seeing is the natural conclusion of 25 years of Enoch disinterest, complacency, and general incompetency in running the football operation. Of this, I don't disagree. Absolutely bang on. It's turned us all against each other, hasn't it? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. NSG, thank you very much. Said we are just the same cycle every year. Fans have ambitions and hopes. Club do not show same ambition. Levy says win the Premier League, not the timeline. I agree with you, but the problem is I think everyone's taken this league and Champions League line to heart a bit too much. And NSG has come back in and says, Sav, just put a ban on the word Ange for the season. Season hasn't even started yet. Why are we back at Ange again? Just ban the trolls. Don't bite. No, listen, it's not about biting. I like to interact with everyone. But you're right. I don't know why everyone is still talking about Ange. Come in again. A big up to you. You've come in again 2 more times. Said Modric GA was horrid at Spurs, but he was class. Yeah, listen. Yeah, GA is very, it's relatable to the player and the impact he has on the team. Big up to you, Ennis. Thank you very much. Didn't Sav predict Ange to get 7th second season? Yes, he did, but no one seems to remember that. They seem to think that I thought we were going to finish 17th. Big up to you, my man. And Danny Kiriakou said, Sav, go support Forest. Wolfie has a Morgan Gibbs White shirt for you. Oh, Danny, you're too funny. Guys and girls, thank you very much. Did you get my late super chat last night, Sav? I think it was as you ended the show. Oh, which show was it, my man? So sorry. By the way, I've got a members only show at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. members only show. I'm setting it right now. 3 p.m. for any members. We'll have a member only show. I'm sending you over right now, though, to Jim and Kate. Please, when you get there, smash the like button. Please say Savva Raid and please subscribe to them. Much love. Thank you, everyone. Take care. And thank you, Alex. As always, come on. You Spurs.